Go for it. Perfect. Got me a minute to get my dice. Okay, welcome back. So, the crew of the New Dawn. You guys have all been learning, doing your best to excel, become better spacefarers as you go underneath the guidance of Captain Lunarbow. You are all connected or veteran or somehow tied to the Second Unhuman War that only ended a couple months ago. And now here you are. You are aboard a crashed ship known as the Starlight Bistro, a massive, what do we call them? Bastille, ballista, something like that. A very large ship that went down and requires a great bit of repairing and seems to be home to a small faction of halflings from this halfling world you find yourselves on here. And that's sort of where you're at right now. You guys recently just completed a couple quests, got yourself a couple Spelljammer helms, and what else did you do? You guys... Yes, you guys hunted down the ghost ship, the Jander Sunstar, and managed to not only destroy the ship, but take its bounty for yourselves, and here you are celebrating your great victory. And as you are celebrating your great victory, you met, I hope I'm saying it right, Zalace, a sort of halfling, roguish fellow who seems to be willing to be a part of the crew, and Lunarbow has accepted. So you guys have all drunk, you've all had your fill, you've all had your eccentricities and excitements from a successful day, and you may all sort of have gone to rest to await the new day and what adventures might find you in wild space. So my most important question is, where do you all think you all woke up this morning? You could have got some rooms on the bistro, you could be on the New Dawn, you guys are, where are all of you at right now?
I think I'm on the New Dawn. I have a large growing stone to keep an eye on.
Do you? Do you, Varsh Voidlight?
Oh shit.
As you awaken this morning, you stretch, sort of, move yourself out of your bunk and, head down to the cargo hold where you keep your hidden egg. And as you get down there to that sort of, the box where you have been keeping in that light box, you see the top is off of the box. As you sort of head into the cargo hold, your heart stops, and you're like, oh, what do you do?
I rush over to check if it's still there.
You look inside the crate, and you see broken shell of the egg. There's no longer... It seems to have been broken or shattered open, maybe from the inside, maybe the out, you do not know. Maybe it's been discovered and destroyed, but it is, whatever its contents were, this egg that you held, they seem to have hatched, one way or another.
So I guess is there any signs of where whatever's hatched out of it has gone? Any tracks or anything been broken?
Make me either a survival or investigation check. It is your choice.
Survival. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, that's really good. Using your survival skills, you sort of look around to see any tracks or signs, and indeed you do see... I guess you'd call it not the yolk, but the sort of sinew, that sort of wet birthing sinew that's sort of slathered out from the side of the box and down the way through indeed the galleon. And you begin to follow it, I assume, yes?
Yes.
Yes. You begin to make your way through, and it seems to be leading to the pantry. The door to the pantry is slightly ajar. There's a couple boxes that seem to be sort of... there's a clear path, nothing destructive, but you do see maybe a couple boxes sort of fallen here and there, suggesting whatever is wandering through here maybe was a little wobbly, a little unstable. But the pantry door is slightly ajar, and you hear sounds within, sort of, I don't know, things being cracked open and gobbling, munching sounds.
I open the door to see see what's helping itself to food.
You open the door. I'm going to post a picture in a second of what you see, but I will describe it first. Within the pantry, you do see that something has been ripping through bags, tearing through boxes, and eating its fill. You see this, not so much scales, more like alligator skin in a way, where it's like sort of scaly, but it is a hide, it is a skin. Across its long lizard body is a white, almost reflective sheen. Very white, very chromatic, not like metallic and reflective, but very white. But it does have sort of pinkish leathery wings. Its eyes are a similar color, maybe a slightly oranger tint. And it does have long spines that go all the way down the back of its neck, all the way down of its tail. And right in the middle of its forehead, you see that same mark from the egg, a key. And it's sort of, and it's just sort of tearing apart bags and devouring whatever food it can. I'll post a picture in the Spelljammer Facebook chat. See what to let us know what Varsh is seeing right now.
Can't I just watch it in stunned silence?
You absolutely can. That's a little big.
Just shrink that down.
I'm gonna there, okay, I like that one. That was a little better. Just it's just eating and sort of tearing apart the food. You see it is a little wobbly, it's still a little wet from the hatching. You get the sense that this is rather recent. And eventually, as you're just standing there, you're just stunned standing there, not in stealth at all, but very just watching. It turns around, sort of like catches you and sees you there, and kind of sort of growls at you. But then the little key symbol on its head just sort of plumes purple, and its eyes plume purple, and returns to its original state and just kind of becomes a little more passive. Do you do anything?
She must be joking. I kind of
tilts its head at you.
I approach it slowly.
All right, you approach it. It kind of looks you up and down. It very much is like, it looks like a creature sort of trying to like, not so much assess a threat, but curious, more like, as you sort of approach it. It's a little unsure.
This is going to be difficult to explain. I doubt you were able to speak yet. You've just hatched.
I assume you're speaking in common?
Yes.
Yeah, it just keeps tilting its head at you, sort of quizzically, like a dog might.
Hello,
Or cat might.
I do actually know Draconic, so... Well... Greetings. I say this in Draconic. See what happens.
Say greetings in Draconic. And it definitely like sort of tilts its head back a little bit, and there's something about your method of speech that is a little more familiar to it. And it sort of parrots back to you in the Draconic tongue. Greetings.
Kind of like... Even like, I kind of take a step back, like,
Sort of brings its head just like a little forward, not like in your face or anything, but just like a couple inches forward, and just sort of sniffs the air around you, sort of figuring you out if it can. Parrots back once more. Greetings.
Not a loss of what to say. Well... That symbol on your head. Do you know what that is?
Symbol. Symbol.
I'll take another step forward and just kind of slowly reach out towards his head to kind of poke where the symbol is.
Make an animal handling check. You will have advantage on this check.
Cool. 19.
You reach out, and it's very like How to Train Your Dragon with like Toothless. You're like you don't close your eyes. You're not like I imagine you're not quite as scared as this dragon. This Hiccup was. You sort of bring your hand forth nice and slow, and it sort of like tilts its head back, unsure. Sort of brings the head down underneath it, like looking up at the hand, unsure what you're doing. You put the hand sort of on its forehead, and it lets you, and then it kind of like preens into it a little bit, taking comfort from that.
Well, the Lady of the Night ordered me to treat you, well, to care for you as my own child, so... Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but, I'll give you a name.
Name. I'll tell you what, as a fun dragon name generator, if you wish, you could do whatever you want, of course, but if you wished, I could give you 3 name, or I could let you roll on like the dragon name chart in Fizzbonds, and then you could pick, and it's basically 4 elements, and you can kind of like reorganize them however you want.
Sure.
Or subtract them, add them, whatever you want to do. Okay, roll me 4d20 and let me know what all the individual rolls are. I'll give you the name elements, and you can feel free to swap them around and subtract them as you will.
14, 7, 1, and 6.
All right. So for 14, we have Rith. 7 is Ethar. 1 is Akon. And the last one is 6, which is Eldon. So I will post those to you. And the book suggests, like, you know, you can use as many as you want, and you can organize them however you want, but this is sort of a little dragon name generator. Or, of course, you can make something of your own. You don't need to do this if you don't want to. There.
Well, giving you a traditional Hadozi name seems inappropriate, so... Etherith.
Damn, I was thinking that too. Etherith.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Sort of say Etherith at it, and it's sort of... Etherith. That's sort of... You see it sort of like rolls its shoulders and kind of tilts its head back, and you see this sort of like a pride as it parrots it back. Etherith. And you seem to have locked in a designation for this new beast.
Well, Etherith, I hope you've had your fill, because you'll have to stop. We, may owe a few apologies.
Sort of tilts its head around. And it just kind of like, I don't know, it just looks like it looks around, and you get the sense it's probably full by now. You look around the room and it's a little, you know, ran through. But it just seems sort of passive at this point. It seems like interested in you. You're probably the first living thing it's ever seen.
Well, I am Varsh.
Varsh.
And you are currently aboard the New Dawn.
Sort of looks around. You begin to, no, never mind. You say it keeps parroting words back to you. You don't get a sense that there is a magnificent intelligence to this creature. Enough so that it can produce words, but it's certainly not your equal in intelligence.
Well, you'll understand as you get older. Just stick close to me. I have some explaining to do. The captain's going to probably freak out. Just stay close and try not to bite anyone.
Close. Bite.
And let me know if a lady starts speaking to you in your mind.
Lady. I'll tell you what, make an insight check to see if you can determine how much of this is coming through for that creature there.
Okay. Rolling well. 22.
Yeah, good job. You get the sense that this creature is mostly parroting back to you. Whether it's because it's just come into life or for whatever reason, it's probably about as smart as an ogre. It is a fairly dim bestial creature. At least at this point. Maybe that'll change as it grows older, but for now, it's about the same intelligence as a close to an ogre, maybe a little bit more.
Well, as I said, when you're older. Anyways, follow me. I'm not gonna gesture for it to stick by me.
All right, you sort of gesture, you say follow, and you gesture, and he goes, and then kind of starts wandering after you. You, my friend, seem to be the master of a dragon at this point. As you go by, you hear from the cage next. In common, you hear the sort of scrow from your original dealings over there say, "What's going on? What's that sound over there?"
A, brief flicker of light. I look over at them. I look back at the dragon. And I look at the scroll.
Yeah.
And I can't look over my shoulder. I was expecting a visitor in my mind. Please don't ask me of this. Please don't ask me of this.
There seems to... Yeah, go ahead.
I look at the scroll and just say, if you value your lives, don't worry about it.
They all kind of look at each other and look at you, and the one in the front sort of just does a little nod, kind of just they kind of back off and lean against the walls of their cell, and they take your word for it.
And I move on.
Okay. You move on. Where's everybody else? Where's Bisan? Where's Chaplin? Where's Zalace? Where are you guys all at right now?
I think Bisan would have gotten is there there's an inn of some sorts at the bistro?
Yeah, the little tavern you were in had a couple rooms for rent if you wanted to.
I think that she would
Not
have
too expensive.
She'd have stayed there just for a change of scenery and trying to do her cultural immersion thing where she sits in the corner and tries not to creep people out as she watches.
Fair enough. 5 silver to get a room there.
Yeah.
Nothing too extravagant. All right, you just kind of are watching people. A couple hobbits in the corner go, that one over there has done nothing but staring since we've been here. He goes, who's that in the corner over there? And the guy goes, I don't fucking know, and walks away. While you sit in the corner and just sort of with your Gith appearance, which is, the Zerai are not well known as the Yankee. So they're like, people are a little just passively intimidated by you. But you watch and observe and see what's going on. Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a...
You wake up the next morning? Yep.
Is there a market?
Yeah, there is. Absolutely. You want to head over?
Yeah, I'd like to head over to the market and I don't know how to approach this, but actually she doesn't know how to approach this, so we're just going to try to figure it out as we go.
Okay. No problem. But in the meantime, just to see if anyone else is around, where is Zalace Chaplin? What are you two up to? Zalace, I believe it is.
Yep. Go ahead, John.
Only just making my way back to ship to put myself up and maybe everybody on the ship. And
sorry there, John. I don't know if it's just me, but can't hear your mic very well. There's a lot of cutting in and out. That might just be. Is that just me?
No, it's a lot of distortion.
Yeah, the mic is very hard to hear through. Yeah, we'll just give you a second to adjust there. If you're talking, we still can't hear you. Tell you what, we'll give Zalace a second to figure out Mike's stuff, and we'll come over to you, Chaplin. So where do you think you're at, Chaplin?
Sure. As much as Chaplin likes to be entertained by the groups of people, he sees himself as kind of in service as almost a part of equipment on the ship. So he probably does return to the ship in the evenings and takes his kind of resting position on the top deck. I would imagine at some point he'd have returned to the deck. In the morning, he'll wake up and he has to do some... he essentially goes through this ritual that he doesn't quite understand, where he attempts to commune with his deity. And essentially, do his version of meditating for a little while. But then after that, it's time to break out the first furry ball from the bag of tricks.
Oh shit! All right, let's do that. You're up on the top deck. People are just sort of, we're on leave here, so people are kind of sleeping in a little bit. But yeah, you've got the deck to yourself, and oops.
Oh, we got a rat first, I believe.
All right, you stuff your hand in, you pull out a little fuzzy ball, you're not really sure what it is, and you just sort of bloop, throw it onto the deck, and the little ball just sort of unravels itself like a hedgehog almost, and it sort of just like runs up to you and sort of scampers over your foot and just kind of sits at you and kind of does like the thing where it like looks you up and down and is ready to be of service.
So are we in wild space or are we on like a planet?
The New Dawn can't land in the desert, so it's sort of just like floating above the bistro. Like if you looked off the side of the ship, you could see the bistro like maybe like a mile down.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I guess we'll go ahead and do all three here on the deck. So Chaplin probably immediately recognizes that having a rat on board is not going to be seen the most favorably. So he kind of tries to herd it in a specific direction that he doesn't think he's going to get in trouble for. And then we'll try and bring out our 2 other furry balls for the day.
Okay, you take 2 more out. Let me see. The creature is friendly to you and your companions, and it acts on your turn. You can use bonus. So yeah, you tell it like go over there, and it follows your orders implicitly. You take out 2 more, and you toss them on the deck. Go ahead and roll. See what you produce.
Yep, I got them. Let's see. We got a giant goat, yes, and a lion.
Oh shit! You throw one at. And it does like the little goat yell, and this huge goat appears on the deck, and then right next to it, this lion appears, full grown. 3 creatures that really don't hang out usually, but they're yours to command, and they maybe look at each other. The lion sort of licks its chops, and the goat sort of at it and bleats. What do you do with your new friends?
I'm sure that Chaplin is probably endless entertained, for one, by the variety, and 2, just by having like these controllable, attentive companions. So he's probably just gonna frolic with them for a few minutes right now until something else comes up.
All right, fair enough. So we'll hit that for a second, because yeah, you're frolicking with them. You sort of play with the lion and the goat, and you jump on the goat's back. And the goat is big, to be clear. It's about the size of the lion, if not a little bigger. Like you could mount it probably. Let me see, giant goat. Oh yeah, it's a large beast. You could mount it if you wanted to. So you're frolicking around. I'm gonna roll to see who gets on deck. The door sort of opens, or someone comes up, like a couple crew member come up, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" They see you playing with a lion, a giant goat, and a rat, and the plasmoid bard's like, "Well, I'm gonna write a song about this." And you see your Yersinia comes up and goes, "Oh, Chaplin, that's you're using the bag. That's really cool. Wow, that's okay, interesting."
Yeah, the captain gave it to me. He said I should try to entertain the crew as much as possible.
It seems very entertaining. Wow, very cool, very, very cool.
I think I can ride this one. He gets up, mounts the goat, and takes the rat with him.
You got the rat on your shoulder. You get on the goat. The lion sort of like prances behind you like a cat, and being an actual cat, and you sort of trot around the deck. Very funny.
Little circus parade.
A little circus parade, exactly. Something's gonna happen though. Varsh Voidlight.
Hi.
You're sort of hi, how's it going? You're wandering across the deck, and you hear this like up top, and you hear and then like animal sounds, like a literal circus is up above on the top deck, and you're like, oh, that's really weird. And you feel a flutter of wind from behind you, and you look behind you, and you see your dragon sort of turn into like almost ghostly and phase through the floor and sort of beats its wings up through the bottom of the ground.
Oh, no.
And suddenly, Chaplin, as you're riding along there, a ghost dragon flies up out of the ground, solidifies, and like snaps at you, and you have this like holy shit moment, and it just sort of lands on the deck and turns around and looks at you, has a little rat tail hanging out of its mouth, and it sort of slurps it up. You're muted.
Hey, there's a dragon too. Everybody got new pets. Give me back my goat.
Everyone's like, ah! Like Chaplin's like, oh, this is great. But everyone's sort of, and people start screaming on the top deck. Varsh, what do?
I run upstairs to try and get control of the situation.
You run upstairs. Like a couple archers have their bows out. They're like, a dragon! Oh, holy fuck, a dragon! And people are like flipping out, and your dragon's just sort of standing there, and then kind of like at them all. You run up on the top deck. You run in. You sort of interpose yourself, I assume. Chaplin, yeah, you're still on your goat. Your goat's a little freaked out. Make an animal handling check to see if you can control your goat. fucking great. I love this shit. This is great.
12.
12, you manage to maintain calm the goat. Your lion sort of gets in front of you and sort of like roars at the dragon. And they two start like King Kong versus Godzilla situation. They sort of like prepare themselves. Varsh, you get in the way. There's a lion, by the way, Varsh. That's cool.
Wow.
Have fun. What happens next?
Varsh, is that your dragon? Did you get a bag of dragons?
No, the stone hatched. Let's just
Peanut
all
butter
stay
stone?
calm.
This is what you get when you put peanut butter on a stone?
Apparently, Earth, to me, please.
Make a animal handling check.
Oh, great.
You'll have advantage on all of these checks going forward. So whenever I ask for an animal handling check to do with your dragon, you'll have advantage.
Cool. 12.
12 sort of like looks at you and it's still like staring down the lion, and it will continue to, but it will like sort of like strafe over to you on its feet and just kind of like move over beside you, but it's not like letting its guard down. It sees a lion and it's predatory, it's territorial in this moment.
I kind of have like one hand on the hilt of my sword. I assume you have the lion under control, yes?
I think so. Your dragon already got my rat. But it looks like we're making it a little uncomfortable still, so I'm happy to give you a little space.
The lion in that moment lets out like the most ferocious Lion King like roar that like shakes all of your bones and your skin. The dragon lets out another like hissing like Jurassic in its direction. You know, Chaplin, that your line is very specifically under magic command as well, just so you know.
All right, come on, lion, let's go. And
It immediately just sort of like stands up straight and like walks over to you, like immediately.
We'll head in the other direction and give Varsh and his dragon a little time to get better acquainted.
All right, fair enough. You guys sort of head over to the side of the deck. Your dragon sort of calms down a bit, maybe like puffs its chest out a bit as if it had won the standoff. Happily won the stand.
One, if there is. And I kind of look around. I see like the other crew are all just staring in fear.
The other crew are like they got bows out, and they're like bringing the arrows down. They're like they're starting. They get the story now. They just can't believe it. They were amazed by a lion. Now there's a ghost dragon thing.
Does anyone know where Captain Lunabo might be? I have, as you can see, some explaining to do.
One of the elves goes, yes, very well. Summon the captain. And like two of them go running off towards the captain's quarters. Your dragon just sort of like chills on the deck, like almost like paws up on the side rail and sort of like looks off. Its tail sort of slaps around behind it, a little like excited as it like looks off at the massive landscape. Looks up at the sky, sort of enjoying that. Chaplin and his circus stay off to the side. You see Lunarbo come out, not in full regalia, captain outfit armor or anything. No, just sort of comes out in like a very loose sort of white linen shirt and some I forget what they're called, but they're like the knee height, like sailors shorts, basically. Barefoot, comes out onto the deck of the ship and sort of like looks around and goes, looks over at you, Chaplin, and kind of, and he like connects the dots quickly, kind of, right, and looks over at Varsh, kind of, Mr. Voidlight, good morning.
Good morning.
How did you sleep?
Not well, if I'm totally honest, but I'm not quite sure where to begin here, so
Take your time, really. I seriously, take your time.
this is Etherith. Kind of, they hatched this morning.
I see. Well, a dragon. There's been stranger things in the Astral Sea. Where might I ask, did you procure a dragon?
Kind of swallow, and then kind of like almost like kind of place a hand on Earth with kind of almost a strength. At the risk of my own life being on the line, Captain, I cannot say.
Well, is it a nice dragon?
It appears to have been bewitched in some way to obey my commands, so to that extent it is not hostile. But it is also only just hatched, so its mind and temperament has yet to really be known.
And do you intend to keep the beast?
Again, as a matter of life or death, I must care for the beast.
Well, I did bring you on as our astral expert, and, well, make a persuasion check.
Oh boy. With my fat 0. 14.
14. Goes, well, I shall tell you what, Mr. Voidlight. Ships are not unknown to have unique creatures aboard for the sake of, well, personal combat and other uses in wild space. As long as you can assure me that, well, no one's at risk as long as it's here and it doesn't compromise the safety of the crew, I would be willing to allow you to keep it aboard my ship. So long as I said, you take responsibility for it.
Well, so far, no one has been harmed apart from one. Did I see him eat the rat?
I don't think you saw him eat the rat.
Chaplin calls out from off camera, "That dragon ate my rat!"
Some of the crew members look around each other like, oh, good. they don't seem totally unhappy about that.
One rat and an indeterminate amount of our food stores. It was hungry when it hatched, and I wasn't awake at the time. I'm happy to pay whatever has been lost.
Very well. Well, it saves us having to buy a cat for the rats. All right, fair enough. You compensate for any missing supplies in the pantry, and as long as you can keep it under control and it proves useful and doesn't harm the rest of the ship, I'd be willing to let you on with it, Mr. Voidlight. You've proven yourself to be a responsible and upstanding member of this crew, so we shall see what happens.
Thank you for being so gracious.
You look around at the crew, say, this may be my ship, but a ship is only as good as its crew. Does anyone have any objections to Mr. Voidlight's new companion? Do a little check to see if there is. The crew sort of looks a little uneasy. You get to see there is some reluctance, but they all kind of end up shrugging and kind of nodding. You get the sense that, Lunarbo sort of initially accepting, sort of provides a little confidence to the crew. Lunarbo's doing very good with morale right now on the crew. And they all seem to trust the captain's judgment. And you are, a good member of the crew. You've proven yourself. And they all kind of seem to shrug and sort of nod. And he goes, all right, well, good luck to you, Mr. Voidlight. If you can make an ally of this creature, I'm sure it'll be a great ally to us.
Yes, Captain.
All right. About your days. I'm going back to bed. And the captain just goes back to bed. The dragon seems to have been largely uncaring of the whole situation. Like the conversation, everything. Still just sort of like turned back around, was like looking off the deck and sort of like just looking sort of excitedly out at the horizon.
Now that the kind of anxiety has calmed down, I kind of like take a look at the dragon. Well, aren't you just adorable?
Give us some pats. And it lets you do that, and you sort of feel its scales, its small sort of almost alligator-like scales, tough and strong, but not formed into large singular scales, not as of yet. Probably needs to grow a little before that happens. Fantastic. Some explaining has been done, and Mr. Voidlight, you will have to pay out some lost supplies, as your dragon was a little hungry. That'll end up being 5 gold. And if you don't have that on your person, they can take that out of your pay.
More than enough to pay for that.
Fair enough. Cool. That's worth about 10 rations. Maybe about 10 men's days worth of food. I want to come back to Mr. Zalace. I want to see what Zalace is up to, if the mic is working better.
Yes, I hope so. Can you hear me all right? Yeah?
Yeah, well, much better. We hear you perfectly.
Brilliant. Okay, so once I've stowed my gear in my bunk, I'd like to just take a walk around the ship and go and have a look at the cannons and ballistas and just try and have a quick look at them to see what I'm going to be using as my weapon, because that'll be my job.
Absolutely. Yeah, you go looking around, checking out the ship. You've put your stuff up. You got some sleep aboard the ship. Familiarize yourself with the hum of the wild spaceship. And go looking around. I'm just going to toss our auto gnome Vito in the kitchen, because that is where he will be for the duration. Incredible. You go looking around. Do we have a mini for Mr. Zalace? I don't think I picked one for you yet. So I'll get you one now. Real quick. Mr. Halfling.
There's a part of me when I see it written that wants to say Zalace, and I know that that's not right.
Zalace.
Well, I was just pronouncing it Zalace, but Zalace is okay as well. So
Zalace like palace.
Zalace. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, you go looking around the ship and checking it out. It's a decent-sized ship there, Zalace. You go looking around. I'll sort of inform you of what you see. You were sort of bunking down on the cargo deck. So you kind of look around. You do see that they do have a brig where they have a couple of Skro prisoners. There's about 3 of these large, burly, spacefaring orcish creatures that have been sort of imprisoned. They kind of like look at you. They don't like snarl and grimace or anything so barbaric. They just kind of like look and acknowledge you and kind of turn back to their own company within the cell. There's a weird sticky substance on the floor. There probably hasn't been any cleaning yet today. It's early. It's a leave day and whatever. And you go looking around. There's plenty of quarters. You say hi to some of the crew. It seems to be mainly Elvish, an Elvish crew. Maybe about half, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, is sort of crewed by elvish warriors. They all seem to be kind to your getting here. They ask you who your name is and so on and so forth. And then you come to the top of the deck, and you see Chaplin astride a giant goat with a lion at his side, and Varsh petting a glowy white dragon, like a slightly glowy white dragon. And so that's cool. As you're on your way to the artilleries.
Maybe. I'm gonna give the dragon a wide berth as I'm going. I look over at Chaplin and have a little chuckle to myself, the fact that he's riding a goat, and thinking to myself, I'm gonna have a shot of that. But I'm very wary of the dragon, being the size that I am, just wanting to keep out of its way.
Yeah, you keep out of its way. As you're making your way up the stairs, I did roll for it. You kind of like catch an eye of the dragon as it's like sort of like a dog sort of like looking off the side of the deck, and its head sort of craning in your direction. It kind of like sort of just like licks its lips at you a little bit. And then you continue on your way up. And you see, you're on the top deck here. You see some people I've got more minis here than ought to be right now. You see maybe like a thri-kreen, which is these like insectoid, almost like ant-looking creatures. Two of them are working on one ballista, sort of keeping an eye on it, like checking it. And on the other one, you see the gift that you saw from the other night. And he looks over you and he goes, good morning, Zalace.
Good morning. How are you?
He's come to inspect the artillery.
I thought I'd better just come and see what's going on, make sure that everything's okay, so I know which way it shoots and how it veers. I just like to know the weapons I'm using.
Fair enough. Well, let me walk you through it then, my friend. So here, on the forecastle, we have 2 ballista, and they shoot, their range of motion is from the front of the ship to either side of the ship. The only directions they cannot really fire is backward, but for that, we have a mangonel at the back of the ship, which of course you may take your time to inspect. But those are the armaments so far. I believe the captain has plans to install some extras.
Okay, that'll be good.
Well, do you want to take a shot?
Yeah, let's have a go. See how this works.
All right. Fair enough. And he sort of like looks over at the thri-kreen. He says, hey, one of you come help me load. And trigger report back to the mangonel to fire off a target shot. So the 2 of them disperse. One comes over, loads the ballista bolt for you. The gift sort of does like the rough aim for you. 2 actions spent, so all you have to do is fire. He says, all right, you ready to take your shot?
I'm ready.
All right. And he calls off to the back of the ship. He goes, pull! And there's and you see a barrel hurl through the air. Go ahead and roll me a d20 plus 6, please.
D20 plus 6. 12.
The arrow fires, or the bolt fires off. It fires very true to where you aim, but unfortunately, this moving target, it does clip it. It does, and it sort of like directs it off course, but you don't shatter. It's not a direct hit, and it goes. They both go off in different directions. So it is a miss, but it was a close miss.
Okay.
It was, nice try.
Is there some sort of crate I can use to get myself a little bit higher so that I'm not reaching up? Maybe that might help.
Yeah, sure. You go. Yeah, you get like a little box and you like put it under yourself to sort of help you aim. And they load you up another one. They say, let's do another one. There's a practice shot. You're groggy from the morning. Okay. And then he lets off another pull, and then another barrel sails through the air. Take another shot. 1d20 plus 6.
Minus 11.
11. This one just misses. Fires off completely. He goes, oh, it's too bad. But do not worry. As we travel, you'll have plenty of time to practice as we sail through cruise speed. We should be heading out today to our next destination.
By the looks of it, I'm going to need all the practice I can get. So, yeah, let's hope so.
Fair enough. At that point, one of the crew members, one of the elves, comes up and says, Commandant Dionysos and a new crew member. And the Commandant says, yes, this is Zalace. And the elf says, oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Zalace.
Pleasure to meet you too, sir.
Just wanted to let you know that the crew, the captain will be having us set out around lunchtime. He does have a plan for another destination, which he plans to announce to the crew. Some of us are setting down to the bistro to inform the rest of the crew. So, just wanted to inform you. Commandant says, very good. And the elf sends on his way. The Gith looks at you, the big hippopotamus man. He says, so tell me, Zalace, have you ever been off planet?
No, this will be my first time leaving this place.
Truly? How exciting.
You would think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A new challenge,
You should.
a new start.
Oh, you should. There's nothing quite like the last great... Well, that's not true. There's many planets with frontiers. But the frontier of wild space, you will never have seen anything like it, Zalace. And with that, we will report down planet side. So, Bisan, you head over to the market.
Right. So, I need a refresher in my memory above the table, because
Sure.
she's taken the armor to an armorer, and I believe that was somebody who was actually on the ship. But I don't quite recall if it was someone at this place, and I was going to take the armor and weapon to somebody to see if they know something about it. I just don't remember if I've done it here.
So
I don't
you're
think
certain
so.
that you did it, you just don't know if it's here.
Yeah. She did it immediately after she got it, because she had the conversation with the captain about, can you help me? How would you go about finding what this symbol is? And that conversation happened on the way to the bistro. So no, I would like to go to an armor. She would go to an armorer first. We would go to an armorer first.
Fantastic. So I'm pretty sure it must have been here, because you received it on the winter planet, and then you guys headed over here. And this is this is the only major trade center you've been to since then. So I think if you went to visit anybody, mercantile style would have been here. But yeah, you come here and you go looking around the markets. And indeed, it very much looks, like the place has been retrofitted to suit their needs. You don't know what these rooms used to be for, what they used to serve as, but they certainly serve as these sort of bazaars now.
Could I find, like, I assume I'm the only Githzerai here. Is there?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, if there's another Githzerai, great, I'll strike up a conversation, but otherwise, is there an Arcanist?
An Arcanist. I'm gonna do a little roll here. No Githzerai. And you're not terribly surprised. Githzerai are a very cloistered civilization, shall we call them. You'd be more likely to find a Githyanki, and even they would be hard to find in respectable society. Looking around, and you're looking for an Arcanist or an Armorer, is what you said, right?
I think, well, if we have agreed that I've already seen the armorer, and they'd like basically said you're gonna have to go to a specialist, probably a Gith specialist, to see this. But I didn't try to go to an arcanist to see if they could identify the rune.
Got it. Yeah, and to be clear, I think the armor would have said, like, we can repair it, but it won't be, like, in the same style. It'd be like a patch job. It would be, like, it's not a style of armoring that they're familiar with. So, yeah, it would be like, we could fix it, but we're not going to fix it to make it look probably the way it originally looked. It would be, a little rougher. But yeah, you head in here. No Gith, but there's plenty of stalls open. You don't see an armor. You don't see someone who's actively working in smithing, but you do see someone who is trading and selling in weaponry. You also see another woman who seems to be trading and selling in trinkets and magic and potions and books, lots of books. You see this tiefling woman in the center who seems to be definitely, as you put it, an arcanist.
I'd like to talk to both of them, please.
Okay. So why don't we approach the arcanist? She is right in front of you. So you approach her. She's this blue-skinned tiefling woman, dressed in sort of finer robes. Very much has that, when you're on vacation, you walk down like the stalls and they got all the leather bags and stuff. That's very much the style of market here. Very stall. And you approach it. She sort of comes over. She goes, good morning. Hi, welcome. What can I do for you?
Hi. Could you help? Do you know what this is? And I'll put forth the feast that's got that rune on it.
Okay.
And say, do you know? Have you seen this? I'm sorry. My name's Bisan, and do you know what this is?
Pleasure. Here, let me take a look. And she will take it from you. Sorry, just my memory's a little foggy because it's been a minute. What was the description of it again?
So it was a runic above the table. I am almost positive it was the runic symbol for the monastery that is somewhere on Tyrell for the Gith who were wanting the unification. That's what I think it probably was. She just knows it is a rune that she recognized as being infinity, but does not know what it means in regards to anything other than that's kind of a weird symbol to have on really specialized Gith armor.
Got it. Sorry, I'm just looking through my calendar super quick here to get all the info.
And can I make a check to see if I think an arcanist could fix the sun sword?
In just a moment.
Yes, of course. Sorry.
No problem. Okay. So you give her the symbol. She looks at it. She goes, well, this is something. I've only really read about this. This is really, it's really interesting. Yes, this is, this, as I'm sure you know, this is a Gith symbol. It's interesting, though, because the Gith Sarai and the Gith Yankee, as again, I'm sure you know, they use the same alphabet and the same language, but they sort of, one writes it one way, the other writes it the other way, sort of, one writes it in reverse, the other writes it in reverse. But it basically is the letter U in both ways. So, and this is typically considered a symbol of unification between Gith Sarai and Gith Yankee, which is rare. I've only really read about it in books to do with sort of planar cultures. I myself have never been otherwise, but this is definitely a symbol from the outer planes, from beyond our world and beyond our own plane. Something, it's more of a fairy tale. I'm amazed I'm actually looking at it.
Do you have can I purchase one of your books on it? Can you tell me everything about it?
Let me see what I got. Yeah, let me see what I got. She's gonna look around, and she goes looking through. She ends up pulling a chest out from one of her things, and she opens up the chest, and she ends up pulling a little paperback book out. It's not a tome. It's not a great source of knowledge. It very much looks like a small book for the sake of entertainment. And she hands it to you. It's a sort of like a red-bound paperback book. It isn't wrote in Gith; it's wrote in Common. And you sort of like open it, and it's not dense at all. It's a very, very light read, and it speaks about like. It doesn't give any great specifics, but it says like, once upon a time there were, the Gith Yankee, and it tells you like all of the normal stuff you already know about. It says who Vlakith and Mother Gith and blah blah blah, and talks about the Gith Yankee and the Red Dragons and the Lich Queen, and then it says, and there's the Gith Zerai, and it talks about all that stuff you know about. And it says, but little do others know that though these races are divided, somewhere out in the outer planes there is. They are unified in a common cause to defeat their once true enemy, the true masters of evil, the Mind Flayers. And it's very storybook, and it's very, like, not real. But you do see the symbol that is on your crest there that you have possessed. It does sort of show up in the pictures. Where, like, there's one where it's, like, the evil Gith Yankee, and then there's, like, the Gith Sarai, and then there's, like, them shaking hands with a little symbol behind them. It's very, like, children's storybook. He goes, I wish I had any more, but I just sort of picked that up out of errant interest when I was going by a stall. I never expected to actually come across anything as authentic as this. Incredible find. Where in the world did you find something like this?
A Yeti had it.
Oh. Interesting. Wow. I wish I had more for you. I picked that up, as I said, out of just curiosity. But it does speak that they can be found in the outer planes. Maybe, with all due respect, maybe your people, from wherever you hail, might know more.
Oh no. No.
Oh.
She smiles, but then tries not to smile because she knows it's terrifying when she smiles, and she doesn't want to scare this very nice person who's helping her.
Yeah.
Tiefling who's helping her.
Yeah.
So it's just like the Gith. From the time we're hatched, we're pretty much indoctrinated that the Gith Yankee are as bad as the Mind Flayers. I have reason to believe that that's not true, and I can't really go home thinking like this. So, no, if they know, they're not sharing.
Well, I see. You're an open-minded thinker, but I mean, I haven't done much spacefaring, but all I hear of the Gith Yankee is that they're horrible, murderous pirates who ride on dragons and burn cities to the ground for treasure. Is it true?
It is. But it's also true that we were once one people, and Mind Flayers are awful.
They are. That much I know. Well, why don't you keep the book? That's just hang on to that. I think that you'll get more use out of it than me.
Thank you. And like she actually like puts it kind of respectfully close to her. Says, you have things here. Do you fix? And she'll put the sun sword down. Is this? Did you fix this?
She immediately sort of like forgets you're there and goes, whoa, and like takes it. And she goes like, was this an authentic Gith Sunblade? This is incredible. Oh, is it slightly damaged? That's, oh no. Oh, wow. And she's like looking it over. She's like, this is incredible. This is a very old style weapon. I mean, I've only had a chance to ever see one before, but like, this is definitely like a more antique model. It's not antique. I mean, a more, I don't want to say archaic either. This is probably 100 years old. It's incredible craftsmanship. And she just starts obsessing over it, and sort of looks at you and goes, "Oh, right. Here." She goes, "I could work on it. It might take me some time, maybe a couple days to sort of figure out the best way to do it. I know that this is sort of a discipline that is kind of held by the Gith, The craftsmanship is sort of kept sacred. I could try and take it apart, figure out how it works, put it back together again, try and figure it out. It might take me a couple days, maybe a little longer. If you would think that's appropriate.
I don't know how much time I have, but so long as we are here, please, and if you fix it, I will pay you.
Okay. Certainly. I'll start taking a look at it. Well, why don't you give me at least a little time to, and I'll say at this point, you feel a hand on your shoulder, and you turn around and probably stab them to death, being the ready warrior that you are. No, you turn around and you see one of the elves of the ship. In fact, the individual who, thinks he sucks on the bow, but maybe not anymore. And he's like, hair's like going in the wind, his chest is puffed out, he picked up a cape of billowing, so that's going. He looks incredibly confident. And he goes, Bisan, we are called to return to the ship. Our voyages into the wild space systems and the dangers fraught there, we shall face once more soon. The captain has a destination for us.
And all Bisan does is she gives him the same look that she and Dionysus go back and forth. It's like, nice cloak.
Thank you. I thought it was time that I let the world know that I am here. Yeah.
Trying to hide the teeth. Genuinely loving that form. Trying not to scare him. I will turn back to my tiefling friend and say, I hope I can come back.
She goes, oh, well, if you're leaving the planet, I'd hate to keep this from you. Please take it, please. And I'll do a little looking around, see if I can find any information. I admit, I have a fascination with Gith, but it's not my area of particular expertise, but I'd be very interested. Okay.
And I will go with the billowing one.
The billowing one. Yeah, he says, he puts his hand on your shoulder and goes, you go to the ship, Bisan. I need to find other crew members. Yeah. Okay. And then he walks away.
Oh, dear. We've given him something, somewhere.
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good about himself lately.
No, and good. It's a good change for him, man. It's a good change. I like it.
Yeah, he needed it. He needed a little boost. He's really riding it, though. He's really riding it. And, after a little bit of time, you guys get aboard the ship. Bisan, there's a dragon. Cool. There's a lion. There's a giant goat. But yeah, you get aboard the ship. And everybody sort of you see all the crew members have sort of rallied up. There is, this is a crew of about 18 individuals at this point. Yeah, or I think it's 19 at this point because Vito joined. But you guys are all sort of corralled on the deck and getting ready for what happens next. And the captain, now in proper regalia, says, well, crew, as you may notice, we have some new additions to the deck. Mr. Voidlight has procured for himself a dragon. And we're all very proud of him. He's assured us that the dragon is well and under control, so nobody need worry, and I'm sure you can answer any questions you might have. In other news, Chaplin seems to be the leader of his own circus, and, petting hours are between work hours, I'm sure. And last and most importantly, it's time to set sail. Maybe we'll return to the bistro, maybe we won't. We will see where our fates take us. But I thought it was due time we returned to the great port of call here in Turil. The Rock of Bral. We all met up there. I thought it was time that we returned. All of you, I have great hopes for everybody aboard this ship. You're all very skilled passengers, you're all very skilled crew members, and you're very skilled warriors, and seamen, and sailors, and seafarers, and warriors. And it is my hope that one day maybe you all might procure your own ships. You might all be captains of this wild space in your own time. And if you intend to be around realm space, you need to know the rock. It is probably the best place for anyone to get work, purchase a ship, find a crew, and all kinds of sorts of things. So let's head there and see if we can't learn a little bit more about the Rock of Bral and its many, many organizations. So, to stations. And the Spelljammer says, to stations! And everybody starts running around the deck and pulling on ropes and such. And begins to get to work. The captain says, Mr. Voidlight, Mr. Fool's Gold, please secure your companions.
Yes,
Aye, Captain.
And everybody gets to work.
I bring a Etherith down below decks to where my bunk is.
Okay, you do so. You walk by At, who goes, ah! And sort of scurries away. But your dragon comes below deck and sort of like keeps staring up the porthole, like looking around with interest.
So the Haduzi we just passed is called At. They are a friend.
Friend.
And I just essentially try to find them a place where they can, chill and maybe not make trouble.
Yeah, you see sort of wanders about. I'm gonna look at my dragon here and see, or your dragon, I should say, and see what it sort of like looks around the cabin, sniffs around, and kind of like, it was just born today, so it is getting a little tired. So it kind of like finds a nice little corner and curls itself up. And you can hopefully return to your duties without it causing any trouble.
I'll be back in a moment. I just have to do my navigating duties, and maybe we'll find some things to make you comfortable. And I gotta go. Just stay put.
Put. Yeah, you're like motioning to it. Make me an animal handling check. I'll have advantage, of course, to see if it is understanding to stay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Very nice. It sort of like looks at you and you're like pointing, stay put, and it sort of like curls its head around itself as it's getting ready for a nap. You think you've convinced it?
And I go back up to do aura things.
Fair enough. Mr. Chaplin, where are your lions and tigers and bears going?
Yeah, I'm assuming on the main deck there's a little kind of corner or whatever that I could put them in that they're not going to be underfoot.
Tricky. On the main deck, you say? The main deck is pretty well occupied. The corners have stairs up to the different castles. You can try securing them lower deck. That would certainly be out of the way.
I'll do that.
Okay. You go to the lower deck with your little animals, and you see you sort of pass Varsh on the way out, and you see sort of in the corner the sleeping dragon, and your goat's like, and you can just you want to like leave them here?
Yeah, far enough away from the dragon that he's not going to be bothered. And they'll be like, all right, goat, you take care of lion. Lion, you take care of goat. We'll have no more of this rat business.
And they kind of both nod at each other and at you, and they take command of one another, I suppose.
And I'm going to go to the Spelljammer helm.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Oh yeah, these are large creatures, so we're gonna make them big. Yeah, big old creatures around here. Okay, you guys all begin looking around and getting ready to go. Varsh, you find the Auror, who, hands you the orrery. Go ahead and make me as you're sort of like looking around, either make me let's call it an investigation or survival, because you are sort of looking around or investigating the system. You have been here before, so I will give you advantage.
Sure. That is 22.
You easily find the Rock of Bral this time. You've been there before. You move over to Toril. You zoom in on sort of the asteroid belt near the moon, and you find the Rock of Bral with ease. And you guys are currently on, I believe it's, what planet are you on? I think it's Anadea. I'm pretty sure. Let me take a look, make sure. Yep, Anadea. Which means to get to Toril, yeah, you guys are going to be there in like no time at all. Let me just double check the speed of your ship. Okay, so ships. Speed. Okay, 100 million miles, 24 hours. Toril is... So you guys are going to get there in a day and a half. And you begin to prepare. So yeah, you do that. You find it with ease. Chaplin, you get to the helm. You wire it up, and it gets a little explosive. A little go to it, and you guys exit up and out of the atmosphere. For you, Zalace, this is your first time in wild space, and you are you have a full what's his name from Treasure Jim. You have a full Jim moment as you're like holding on to the rigging. You're sort of looking off as the ship sort of begins to thrum and come up and out of the atmosphere, and the blue sky turns to black stars like the night as you travel up and out past the many moons of Andia. You see the sun not too far away, and all of those stars sort of speckle by you, very Star Wars Hyperspace X-esque, as your ship reaches cruise speed and begins to sail through the astral sea, wild space, as all the colors sort of span past you in a beautiful array, like a large and great painting traveling through it. And it is a breathtaking sight as you go by.
Okay, so I'm just going to stand up by the ballista that I'm meant to be manning anyway, because that's up high and on top, so that I can get a better view and just take everything in for a while.
Fair enough. Incredible. So with that, you all begin to travel. We're going to see how your traveling days go. Okay. You guys travel today. The rigging is put up. Cruise speed is had. The Spelljammers are hard at work. Is there anything anyone would like to do during the first day of travel? Any conversations like to be had? Any role play, or would you like just to fast forward to the Rock of Bral?
I'd
Go ahead.
like to find Chaplin, as I'm not needed at the ballista. I like to find Chaplin and just try and strike up a conversation with him. Being as far as I am, he's more the type of size human android robot that I would be able to talk to a bit easier, I think.
Fair enough. Chaplin, where do you think you're on the ship just during the day-to-day when you're not needed?
I would say he probably kind of patrols the ship, waiting, kind of looking in on everyone's activity to see if, there are any frustrations being had with, any of the machinery or rigging or anything like that he might be of service to help with.
Okay. We'll say that you find Mr. Fool's Gold by the main mast, and just kind of like checking the ropes and riggings and making sure nothing's fraying too bad, and you approach.
Oh, hello there.
Chaplin, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Chaplin. Zalace. But I prefer to be called Zal. I know that on the ship everybody's got the full name, but you can call me Zal when we're about. I just wanted to make myself useful with you, and while I'm not manning the ballista, is there anything I can help you with? I really need to improve myself useful on the ship.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Zal. Probably one of the most useful things is that you probably know a little bit more about the armaments than I do. So, an extra set of more experienced eyes, you could probably tell me if there's anything you see that could be helped with. If there's any
I can do that.
if there's any improvements that can be made.
Well, there is one for me on my ballista. Obviously, with my size, it's bit hard to see over the top of the ballista. So I'd need a box or a little gangway around the bottom of it so that I can move around quicker and just without jumping up and down on anything.
Oh, sure. We could possibly even fashion a little bit of a footrest or a step for you to settle yourself on while you're using it. Maybe even
That'd be great.
maybe even create a little extra support for the recoil.
That'd be really useful. Thank you. And I'll keep my eye on all the weaponry and armaments up that way. And if I can help, you just tell me how to do it, and I'll make sure it's okay, and I'll do that for you.
Well, thank you very much, Zal. That's very helpful, and I'm happy to be of service if I can in any way.
There's just one other thing.
Yes, sir.
Can I get a ride of a goat at some time?
Oh, certainly. I don't have any. This is the next day or the same day?
This is the same day that you guys set off.
Oh yeah. Actually, I have a little extra time now. While we're at cruise speed, before we slow down, I've actually got the goat and the lion. Would you like to try either one?
We can do that now. We're sailing. We're going back to Port Rock.
He leans in close, and if he could smile, if his facial expression would change, I guess his head kind of tilts a little bit, and he kind of mimics a whisper in your ear, and he says, "Don't tell anyone this, but I think the captain has a special liking for me. He lets me get away with a few other little things that not everybody can get away with. I bet you we can get away with this."
I'm gonna pass up today. It's my first day on the ship. I can't get into trouble like that. But give it a little bit of time, and I'll come and see you about it. I need to make a good impression.
He nods sympathetically and he says, "Oh, I understand. That makes perfect sense. Okay, well, when you feel good and comfortable and ready, you let me know and we'll reach into the bag and see what we can pull out for you."
Brilliant. Thank you, Chaplin. I really appreciate that.
Very much so. Nice to meet you, Zal, and I hope you have a wonderful ride on board the ship. It's fantastic to be here.
It's amazing out here. I've never seen anything like it before.
Oh, I've been doing this for quite some time, and it does get even more intriguing than this at times. Mostly, though, I find once you've seen enough of wild space, it's really the crews and the adventurers that bring me the most entertainment.
Well, I hope I can be one of them for you. Thank you, Chaplin.
Yes, Zal. Nice to meet you.
And then with that, I'm going to walk to the back of the ship and have a look at the what was it called? I can't remember.
Mangonel.
The mangonel. That's it. And
No
just
problem.
have a quick look around there.
Yeah, you make your way up above. You would see Lunar Bow just sort of like happily watching the crew sort of at work. He sees you sort of making yourself known and thing, and he gives you like a little nod as you go by, Zalace. You see Varsh and this very large turtle sort of like looking at this crystal ball with all of these flashing lights. It is very Treasure Planet, where he's got like the golden ball and the huge like star map comes out of it. Very similarly, they're sort of looking at it. It's projecting this illusory wild space system like planets and celestial bodies, and they're sort of looking through it and pointing at different things and turning it around, very Tony Stark with his holograms. And you move past them to the very large catapult-like system, like this very miniature catapult at the back, where you probably see like Bisan, probably, if you agree, of course, Bisan, sort of like watching over the other 4 crew members who are like looking at it and rigging it up and ensuring all of the roping's working. Bisan's there just kind of like making sure everyone's doing their good work. And you approach, and you see this fine piece of siege weaponry.
So I'm gonna walk over to Bisan, knowing that I've seen her in the tavern, on the starlight. So I'll walk over and, hi, I'm Zalace. We met earlier, or yesterday, should I say?
Oh yeah.
I just come to have a look at the manga now, and see what it's all about.
It's not forgets
a big
herself in
thing.
smiles. Because she's pretty awesome. Check her out. And we'll proceed to tell you absolutely everything about this piece of machinery, like down to the fucking bolt. Different ways to angle it, the peculiarities, like this one has this one little sticking point here, so you have to like adjust your rhythm. Like she knows this piece of weaponry.
And I think it's to your mutual delight, as Bisan starts to like go into like very deep talks about this piece of weaponry. You're getting all of it, Zalace. You understand everything she's saying. You're an artillerist just like she is, and Bisan, like maybe you've done so as well to other crew members who are a little less proficient than you are, and you can tell is sort of on their face they're like, right. I don't think you would get that from Zalace. I think you very much see Zalace on his face, very like, just understanding, getting, and probably interested in what you have to say.
Yeah.
An artillerist of equal skill.
Thank you, Bisan. That was interesting. I've never seen one of these before, so it's... Yeah, I understand this is your end of the ship, but if you ever need a hand, just give me a shout and I'll come and help.
Absolutely. It's fun.
It looks it.
And then like she catches herself and just kind of goes. But it's good to keep a clear eye. You know, you want to stay focused. And like immediately goes back to staring into space.
So noticing that, I'll just nod and agree, and then just go and with a smile and just say, "I'll help whenever you need. Give me a shout. Thank you, Bisan."
Will do.
Let me catch.
I think I'm gonna. So I'll walk back to my ballista and be down that end.
The ballistas are good because you can target individuals. The mangonel is shit up close. I don't get to use the ballistas as often, so if you wanted, just stops.
Let me catch Zalace on his way back through as he's heading back to his.
All right. So Zalace, once you're done sort of chilling with Bisan, you make your way past Chaplin again. Chaplin, yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, hi. I just remembered, I forgot to mention earlier. There's another bosun on board the ship. His name's At. He's a nosy and a good friend of mine. So if you see us flying around at any time, literally him flying sometimes, you can best bet that we're working on fixing or attending to something. In a situation like that, there's always the possibility that one of us could use something handed to us.
Okay, I can help. I'm sorry, his name was again?
At. And he can't move his lips, so it probably is hard to discern because he doesn't have movable lips, so he just keeps trying to make the sound. At.
Okay.
You do indeed see, in a little tricorn hat, a Hadozi sort of running around with very much a carpenter's work belt on. He's kind of doing something similar to Chaplin. Maybe in fact actually look up at the rigging and you see sort of gliding from mast to mast. You do see this Hadozi bosun sort of flying here and there and like checking the rigging, pulling the ropes, checking all of the pulleys, making sure everything's going.
All right, that was all. Just want to make sure that you got an introduction. He's a useful person. No.
No, thank you. As I said, I'll be about, so I need to make myself useful. So I'll be glad to help.
If you do end up needing help from one of us at some point, you have a malfunctioning piece of machinery, or you could use a little bit of a boost. If we're not we're normally pretty present, but if we're not in immediate sight, you can let the Spelljammer know, and they can contact us immediately.
Okay, I will do. Thank you.
All right. Cool. So you guys got sailing out about halfway through the day. So the day goes fine. No confrontations. No problems or issues, and you guys can all find your way to bed. As you make your way down into the hold, it seems that the creatures down there have not ripped each other apart, which is great. Your dragons seem to just like snooze through most of the day. Varsh, being born, can have that effect on individuals. A little fatigue. Your creatures, however, have just been kind of hanging out, Chaplin. So everything is fine down there. Nobody tore each other apart, which is great. And you guys can all sort of head to bed. Is there anything you guys wanted to do at this sort of pre-bed downtime or actual getting down to bed or anything like that?
All I'm gonna do is like sort of unhook my hammock, take like the fabric, and essentially sleep with the dragon to make sure A, no one messes with it, and 2, that if it does wake up, it wakes me up.
Fair enough. You kind of sleep on the floor with the dragon. I'll say during that downtime, Varsh, you definitely have crew members come up to you and they're like, "So come on, where'd you get it? You got to tell us, where'd you get it?" The plasmoids are like, "Let me write a song about it," and they definitely want to hear about, you're the talk of the ship right now. People want to know about the dragon.
I came upon it during my time in the Astral Sea, and I cannot speak further than that.
They'll kind of look at each other. They're like, "Ooh." They're like, it adds to the mystique of the story. I'll tell you what. Make a persuasion check to see if you're able to, like, tell them enough to sate their curiosity, but make them sort of leave you alone at the same time.
2.
Unfortunately, you kind of only stoke their interest. You're like, "I found it in the Astral Sea, but I can't tell you anything else." You understand? They're like, "Oh, come on, man, like, tell us more." And you get the sense you're not going to hear the end of this for a little while. Some of them even try and like talk to the dragon. The dragon looks a little. At one point, like, it gets a little cornered and starts to look a little like. And you're like, okay, everyone, give it some space. But you get the sense that the interest of the crew is far from abating.
Great.
Incredible. If there's nothing else, go head to bed. You'll get a long rest. You'll wake up the next morning. I'll tell you, Chaplin, your creatures disappear after 24 hours. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's correct. And if we're just going to, well,
you should be getting the Rock of Bral by the end of the day.
Yeah, I would say that on most days in the future, probably if we're going to be aboard the ship all day, he probably won't do animals unless he's planning a particular prank. But it's still new enough now that he's certainly not satisfied yet. So yeah, probably 3 more animals.
All right, roll them up. See what's on the deck today and what your dragon might eat, Varsh. What's for breakfast?
Today we got giant goat and lion return.
Hey,
And we get a mastiff.
and a dog. Okay, that's kind of cool. You got a dog, a giant goat, and a lion. And Varsh, you're like, I just got a dragon. I only got one. And yeah. So you get your things back, and you're hanging out, and maybe the captain kind of like you catch the eye of the captain every now and then. Chaplin kind of gives you like a look of like, I guess I should have expected this, but he lets you be. He lets you be.
Chaplin's got nothing but pride. Like he kind of Vanna Whites the animals for the captain every time he sees.
Yeah, and he's like, great. He's like, that's great. Just keep them below deck during working hours. Yeah, incredible. Okay. I'll tell you what, Varsh. Make me an animal handling check at advantage to see if you can make your dragon sort of follow along.
8.
8. At a certain point today, while you're all working, you hear this like, and Chaplin and Varsh, I'm sure you run below deck and you see like it's not like Chaplin's animals against Varsh's animals. It's very like the lion versus the dragon, and the goat is like kind of on its own team, and the dog's just barking at everybody, and it's just fucking mayhem. It's like it's a free for all, and you guys go down there and you take some time to rally it out, and maybe there's a little like, no, your animal started this. It's your fucking dragon. It's your fault. And you guys are like, you take a minute to break everything up and figure it out. Your animals are much easier to calm Chaplin because per the magical command. Varsh, yours is fairly easy to calm as well, but it takes a minute more. But you manage to like settle everything down before anyone gets too hurt. I will say, I think per your dragon, they're yeah. Nah, we'll say we're not quite there yet. It's still very, very young dragon. The one thing that happens today, Varsh, is your dragon does sort of like saunter above deck at one point while you're working, and sort of like looking off the side at like all the stars sort of rushing by, and its eyes are just sort of like twinkling as it looks, and it's just like looking out at the stars and is deeply entranced by the wild space. And then its wings unfurl. And you happen to know that you're going at cruise speed right now, which is, you know, if it gets outside the gravity plane, it's going to go really badly. Do you do anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I speak to Draconic. If you want to fly, do not fly far. The second you go outside of you shows you far, we will never see each other again.
Sort of like, make me either an animal handling or persuasion check. It's your choice, advantage on both.
13. Do all these.
13. It sort of looks at you, it goes, far. And it like looks around, it looks up, it sees the Hadozi sort of flying from mast to mast. It kind of like looks up and takes off straight up into the air. And luckily you're persuaded well enough that it's not going to stray too far and there's not going to be any trouble. But it does sort of just like fly around the masts and perches itself on the top of one of the masts and looks around to the nervousness of a great deal of the crew. But luckily it's not heavy business right now, so it doesn't affect anything. And everyone kind of watches it with a little concern, but like it's fully entranced by wild space. It's almost like it very much feels like, maybe not quite the same, but almost like releasing a lion back into the wild. And it's sort of like, oh, the jungle. Like this is like feeling the jungle and knowing it belongs there. Like when it was born in captivity or something like that. Not quite the same, but it has that same feeling, or it looks in the same way, like it's recognizing it, though it's never been there. And at that point, I need to roll something on a little encounter table, because you guys rolled a encounter today. All right, give me about a moment. I'm gonna have you guys roll for me. So we are in wild space. All right, I need someone to roll me a D100.
$65.
65. Okay, nothing happens. Your ship, whatever it was, it certainly wasn't a big enough, literally big enough issue for the ship to slow down from cruise speed, and you just sail on by without issue. So anything anyone would like to do aboard the ship today? Or would we like to come to the Rock of Bral in the evening?
I want to try to talk Zalace into riding one of the animals today.
Okay. Day comes. You have a fine selection of animals for Zalace to ride. I think the only that he wouldn't be able to. Oh no, he's a small creature, so you can ride any of them. You can ride the Mastiff too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you line up your creatures in sort of low work day, and yeah, go right ahead.
Hey, hey, Zalace. I've got three big ones. I've got three big ones today, and they're all very different. Look, this one's got the horns. This one's got the big furry mane, and this one here's got the big sloppy tongue.
Okay, so I'll have a look around and just see who else is around on deck with us or in the lower deck, and I really want to have a go with Chaplin. It's tempting.
I'm sure
Um,
it'll be fine. The captain's already seen these three animals today.
yeah, but should we really be riding them around the deck like this? Can we not wait till we get back on land?
I rode mine around all day yesterday. Nobody said anything.
Can I make an insight check on that? Because I'm going to say I most probably didn't see him running around on that.
Okay. I will say, yeah, roll me an insight. And I'm going to say Chaplin, it can be a persuasion or a deception because depending on how Chaplin feels, because indeed nobody said anything, but I think you'd also know that there was some from the captain, you know? So you may roll either check, sir.
I got a 19.
On which check?
On insight.
Oh, perception.
Persuasion?
I'm sorry. I rolled perception. 15 then. I'm sorry. 15 on deception then. Let's do that.
Okay, 15 deception. What did you get there, Zalace?
I rolled a 23 on insight.
So Chaplin's like, nobody said anything, and Zalace, you believe him that nobody said anything. And you kind of look around the deck and you see crew members sort of walking around the giant fucking savannah lion. And you see the captain at the top of the deck kind of looking a little more anxious than usual as there's these huge animals on the deck of the ship, and you get the sense that Chaplin's not lying to you, but you don't get the sense that he's being truthful either.
So obviously, noticing the captain, I'm going to say, not today, Chaplin. I can't. I'm sorry. It's too. I can't get kicked off the ship after being on 2 days for riding around on on a beast. It's not going to happen. When we're on land and you've got them out, then yes. When we've got a bit of free time.
Oh, okay. So maybe when we land somewhere. Okay, I think we're supposed to land later on today. So maybe then.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I will see you later. I'm going to take these back below deck before they get chewed up by that dragon again.
Yeah, I would as well. I'm going off to get out of its way as well.
All right. I'll
All
take
right.
him back below deck, temporarily satisfied that he's going to try later.
All right, very well. Indeed, curiosity slaked for just a slight while. Anybody else have anything they'd like to do aboard the ship before coming to the rock? No? Very well. As the day progresses and you all travel on, why don't we come? It's about the time anyway. Let's go to a break. And we'll board the rock when we get back in about 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Cool.
Y'all, I am so disappointed that I decided to have Bisan stay off the ship to try to expand your cultural horizons. Then all the fucking cool shit happens on the ship.
It was a test, technically, I guess, kind of.
And I guess
Not my test, but someone's test.
I guess I like seriously. I'm like, she doesn't know about any of this. She has no idea. She's
He just showed up, and it was a petting zoo.
like, all right.
Cool. All right, we'll be back in a sec. Alright. Just gonna wait for Mr. Voidlight and we'll get back to it. That wasn't long. Sweet. Yeah, I see the mics are on for Bisan and Zalace, so we're good. Hello! Okay. I think everyone's back, so let's get back to it.
Yep.
Alright. A new experience for one of our crew members, but a return for the rest. We find ourselves returning now to the Rock of Bral. As we are approaching this sort of asteroid, it's almost like a number of asteroids that follow a comet near toward the moon of Selune. But as you come nearer towards this moon, you see that the dragon definitely seems to perk up, and it's just like staring at it, like a lion seeing its first gazelle. Maybe not in such a hungry way, but still like an astonishment. As you guys, the ship is, because you're going at cruise speed, so the moon is going like it's growing rapidly, and the dragon watches it and sort of crawls up to the top deck and sort of slithers around some of the crew members. They're like, what the fuck? And he goes like right to like the nose of the ship. He sort of even uses his wings to like flutter up there, just like trying to get closer, all the way up to like the tip of, no, I don't want to do that. See if I can make him do it. Come on, you squid. There we go. Just fully like all the way to the top, like a very fast moving chameleon or a gecko or something, and just like sits at the nose of the ship and just like stares reverently at the moon as you draw closer and closer and closer. And then you guys, about a mile out, come out of cruise speed and find yourselves at the edge of the Rock of Bral. You see this almost like it's a comet. It looks like the top half of it's been cut off. And a small city has been built up on top of it, and you come in to dock and port. You have made it to the Rock of Bral, and the moon of Selune is probably bigger than our moon here on Earth. Probably maybe like 2 times as large, sitting in the sky near the Rock of Bral, as you were quite close to it. But here you are on the Rock of Bral once more, and your dragon just continues to sit at the very head of your ship and like look up into the stars and up at the moon with vast interest. You have arrived. The captain says, all right, crew, this is not leave, to be clear. I want everybody to be scanning, looking around. I want you to investigate the various organizations here on the Rock of Bral and see if you can't conjure up some work. Maybe a job, maybe 2. But the most important thing we're doing here is familiarizing ourselves with this place. As long as you're in realm space, I'd recommend the Rock of Bral be your port of call. There's no place quite like it in this system. Who knows? You might learn something a little unique. You might make friends to call back on. So, good luck. Let's all, say, report in tomorrow morning and see what you have learned. So with that, you have been allowed to sort of wander into the Rock of Bral, see if you can conjure up some work for the new dawn, and familiarize yourself with this place, this port of call here in realm space. You all step off the ship. See, Asinia steps off the ship and is just kind of talking with some of the crew members. Vito elects to stay on the ship and continue to work with his grill. And the 4 of you are where you are. I think Captain Lunarbow sort of says, Mr. Voidlight, Mr. Fool's Gold, if I may speak to the both of you.
Yes.
Yes, this is mostly admittedly directed at you, Mr. Voidlight, as I'm sure you'll understand. But both of you seem to have accumulated yourselves some unique companions, and while the Rock of Bral is a very unique place, very unique creatures from all over realm space, I don't think you'll have any legal troubles wandering the streets with your companions. Just be cautious. I advise caution, especially you, Mr. Voidlight. It's not every day someone sees a dragon, and, well, let's just say there's disreputable people all over the place, and such a thing might go for quite a bit of gold. You understand my meaning?
I tap my sword. Crystal
Gives you a
clear,
nod.
Captain.
Very good, very good. Just keep safe, and good luck.
Captain, see you in the morning.
See you in the morning. And he'll wander down the gangplank himself.
Before Bisan goes off, she wants to report to the captain real quick, just about what she learned about the symbol. Because he had asked her to.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's down the gangplank on the dock. He's not leaving, but he is sort of like talking to whoever wants to talk to him before he goes, doing a little ship management, like, okay, we need to pick up more, like, quartermaster stuff, and so on. And you approach. He says, Bisan, how can I help you?
I talked to someone at the bistro, and they knew about the symbol. And she'll take out the little pamphlet and present it.
I see.
It's a story, but this real symbol is connected somehow to this fairy tale.
I see. Do you mind if we'll be seeing each other tomorrow. Do you mind if I borrow it for the night and familiarize myself?
Please.
Thank you. He'll take it and he'll tuck it in. And he'll say, I'll take a look at it. But good work. It's not easy to find Gith lore and normal civilization.
It was a surprise.
I see. Well, we're always looking for work, and we're certainly always looking for allies. If you think connecting with your people on this matter or another could be beneficial to the crew, as well as obviously yourself, I'd be more than happy to hear you out.
Thank you.
Very good.
She'll nod politely, and the bar with the beholder.
Ah! Bar with the beholder. I know what that's called. It is called the Happy Beholder, a tavern. You want to go there?
Yeah, because they have rooms there, yeah?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I can stay there for the night and then maybe talk to the beholder about where I can find an arcanist here in Tyrell.
Sure. Let's see. Yeah, it's a tavern inn. Yeah, you can head over in that direction. So you step off. All of you have sort of gathered down on the dry docks. Or not the dry docks, sorry, just the docks. Do you all want to sort of go your separate ways, or are you sticking together?
I will let everyone know that I'm staying at the Happy Beholder. It's cool.
Well, I might see you there a bit later on. There's a few things I'd like to, go and check out first before I start, and a few drinks, shall we say?
All right. So we have Bisan heading to the Happy Beholder. Does anyone else wish to go there? No?
I will later on, but not right now.
All right, so Zalace has something to do first. What about the rest of you guys, just so I can, figure out the schedule? Chaplin, where do you think you're heading?
Yeah, I don't think I have a particular destination in mind. I think he just heads into the city looking for, the first liveliness and movement to grab his attention.
Fair enough, and that is absolutely an option, to just sort of wander the streets and see what you see. Varsh, what about you? What's your situation like?
I think, because I believe I have F3 with me.
Yeah, you walk off the gangplank and it follows you very closely like a loyal dog.
I feel like going into a tavern's not gonna work. So I'm gonna kind of head to the market first. I think that's something I want to see if I can possibly buy, and then see about like any sort of maybe ask around kind of more in the open space.
Okay, you're gonna head to the market. Okay. So, as you all, and now, sorry, Zalace, what was your plans?
Oh, there was two things. First, we wanted to find a temple of some sort, because I wanted to speak to some religious
Okay.
first regarding something, and then I wanted to go to the market. Firstly, I wanted to see if I could see any thieves camp around the market to try and find, someone from the thieves guild and see what I can find out from them as well.
Fantastic. Okay, that gives me a good idea about how to run this. So, the first things first, as you all head into the city, Varsh with your dragon in tow and Chaplin with your circus in tow, you guys make your way through the streets. And as three of you have been through before, but Zalace for the first time, you guys are going to make your way through what is known as the boroughs. As you make your way through, you see a very friendly community of halflings of sort of they sort of stand ready, like they don't have stalls or anything, but they're on the side of the street, and it's almost like a kid's lemonade stand situation a little bit, where you guys kind of walk through and they go, "Oh, welcome to the Rock of Bral! Fresh bread. Someone says, "Oh, we got cookies over here. Is any of you wish to buy flowers for a loved one on port?" And you see that all of upon your arrival, the halflings have sort of realized there's new sailors coming out, and they sort of all come out of their homes, perhaps hoping to be the first to, maybe get a little extra coin from little knickknacks and doodads here. They're selling all manner of things, gift baskets. Some are like, "Does anyone want any directions? I know on my way all the way around the rock." And people are selling all kinds of bits, baubles, goodies, and trinkets. And if anyone has any interest there, is your immediate entrance. Yes, Chaplin?
Yeah. I'm actually gonna drop off with this group of halflings.
Okay, you're gonna hang out with these group of halflings. What about yourself, Zalace? You're gonna do that too?
Yeah, so I'm gonna buy some bread off them, and I'm just gonna chat and ask, where's the nearest temple, please.
Fantastic. So you guys kind of stop in, and we'll deal with you quick, Zalace. You buy a loaf of bread, freshly baked, warm halfling cooking. Reminds you of the home you just left behind. For a loaf of bread, that'll be 2 copper pieces. And if you want to drop a third copper piece, certainly someone will say, "Oh, the temples, absolutely. If you just head down that street over there and hang a left and keep going, you can't miss it, you'll find yourself in the temple district."
Okay.
There's temples to all sorts of gods from all across wild space and beyond.
So I will give him 3 copper pieces, and just say, "Thank you, appreciate it."
Sir nods at you. "Very kind, sir. Thank you. Very kind." Just head towards the high city. You can't miss them. And directs you. Chaplin, what about you?
Well, now that I've heard this, I had a different plan. I was going to hang with the halflings and hear what I could hear. But now that I've heard that there's different temples for all sorts of different deities throughout wild space, I think I'm going to check out the temple district as well and see if I can't find one for me.
All right. So Chaplin and Zalace start heading in the same direction. Cool. So you guys will head in that direction. But it sounds like, Bisan, you're going to the Beholder. Varsh, you want to go at the market. So just to remind you what you're going through. So you got the docks. Yeah, the first thing you guys will come to is, oh my god, there's a second Varsh Voidlight. Let's get rid of him.
Doppelganger.
Doppelganger, yeah. And then runs away. So yeah, and all of you, regardless of where you're going, will pass through the lesser markets. These are sort of the low district markets, the beating heart of commerce here in the Rock of Bral. So all of you will pass through here. Who has stuff to do here in the market? I think there was a couple people. Varsh?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you appear with your dragon. People seem a little uneasy by your dragon, the halflings as well, but nobody is like running, screaming, or anything like that. There are beholders running bars around here, so you know, a dragon's a little unusual, but nothing that anyone's gonna freak out about.
Okay. The specific thing I'm looking for is a totem, a druidic spellcasting focus.
Ah, a totem. You go looking around for a totem. Yeah, shouldn't be too hard. You find like one stall where they're selling stuff like that, very trinkety. You know, when you're on vacation and whatever, Mexico or something like that, and there's sort of stalls with all kinds of stuff. You find a number of them, hand carved by locals, maybe even the halflings themselves, and you can certainly purchase one, no problem. Let me just get a little. It's probably not expensive, but I'm going to just check. Druidic focus, where are you? Totems of gold. For like a good one. You go through all the kind of shitty ones and then you find one that's like much more authentic, much more towards what you need.
I'll take it.
Alright, a gold piece to you, and you are the proud owner of a druidic totem. Is there anybody else who needs to go to the lesser markets? Okay.
Well, if we're
Go right
going
ahead.
to, or are we going to come back towards the market? I'd rather do the market bit after, but if I need to do it now, I can.
No, you can do it in whatever order you like, no problem.
Yeah,
Bisan?
I'd rather go to the temple area first, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem at all. Bisan, you're a little muted.
Bisan's reason to go to the beholder first was to find the location of the arcanist, or somebody who might know what that rune is. So if I don't know which way they're going to direct her,
Okay. The
I don't know how to
halfling,
answer
if
the
you want.
question as to whether or not I have anything else to do here.
Yeah, I got you. If you wanted to see if the halflings in the burrows sort of can quickly lead you in the right direction, you can always like drop a copper or two, and they can sort of be like, "Do you know where any mages are?" And they might know for you. Or you could, of course, still go to the Beholder Tavern.
You know what? Yeah, no, I'll buy a loaf of bread.
All right, cool. So that's
I'll
two
do what
copper
I
for a loaf of bread.
saw Zalace do.
All right, 2 copper for a loaf of bread. And if you want to throw a third in there, they'll tell you. They go, "Oh, what was that? You're looking for mages? You're looking for some magic?"
Scholars, like maybe people who know runes and things.
And then sort of, it's sort of like one halfling talking to you, and then a couple other halflings nearby kind of like help out, very community based. Goes, "Oh, there's a number of places where you can talk to mages. Let's see. Well, here in the lower city, if you're looking for like magic item procurements, or you're looking for a Spelljammer helm, you can always go to the Menagerie agency. Let's see, what else? Middle City, and then some guy goes, "Oh, well, the Mages Guild Hall, don't forget the Mages Guild Hall." Goes, "Oh, cool, so silly of me. You can always check out the Mages Guild Hall. It's where the great spellcasters of the city all go, sort of loose federation of mages." That sort of thinks. Any other sort of magical places, places with lots of information. You can go to, it might not be what you want exactly, but you can go to Elendar's star charts if you're trying to find something in the astral sea and wild space. And then the last one they're able to come up with, they say, if you go to the high city, there's always the Library of the Spheres. It's the greatest they say it's the greatest accumulation of knowledge in the whole city there.
Okay.
So those will probably be your 3 places to check out, miss.
Thank you. And I'll head towards the Mages Guild.
Fantastic. seems like a sure place to find someone with magic. No problem. Okay, and you'll head in that direction. Okay, so why don't we hit up? Well, where are you going now, Varsh? You said you wanted to go to.
Is it like I don't know, like gods or like some? I assume there's some sort of like Law.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, they're somewhat fancy looking. Admittedly, they don't look like your average like spear and gambeson guard people. They have sort of like a little more of a finery about them. They look to be almost like royal guards in a way, and they wander the streets. Yes, they don't seem to mind you.
Well, I would like to approach one.
All right, you approach one. He says, "What can I do for you?"
Greetings, I'm a member of the crew from the ship that just docked, the New Dawn. I was wondering if there was any recent distress calls about looking for work.
They sort of look at each other. They go, "Not that I know of. You're looking for work with distress calls with wild space. You could always check out. I don't know if you're looking for space work. You can look at Xeno Termination Ltd.
That sounds almost perfect. Which direction's that?
Lower City, that street over there, hang a right, little building, and they sort of give you a description. So yeah, they sort of specialize in hunting wild space creatures. It's not distress call specifically, but I don't know, sounds like your thing.
Thank you. And I go on my way.
And they nod and they continue down the street, and you saw those guys walking around, but you do see, look around, and they don't look like they're here to guard. It looks like they're going somewhere. But other than that, you don't see guards anyplace. So I'm slightly modifying what I told you after reading. It does seem that a certain level of lawlessness does prevail here. It is sort of a Nassau a little bit. It's not that order doesn't exist, but it is a little lawless around here. Everyone's armed. Everyone's generally roaming in groups. It is a little more cavalier around here. And you can make your way there if you wish.
Cool. I will.
Cool. Why don't we deal with our temple fellas? So, Chaplin and Zalace, you guys go walking through the streets. On the way there, you're going to see a couple of places that I will describe to you, just sort of what you see on the outside. You see one building that says Burkane Agency above the door, just outside the market. You see another place that says the Rock, right, that looks like the most dilapidated, filthy tavern you have ever seen in your life. Let's see, you see a number of other sort of nameless taverns and inns. You end up walking through what is known as the Great Market, and it is about 2 or 3 times as big. It's got a number of shops surrounding it. A place called Gaspar's Reclamations, the Smith's Coster, a tavern called the Thrashing Bull, and it's sort of got like a bull's head and red sloppy paint over the door, but it looks quite popular. You would see Bisan sort of walking past this 3-story building that says the Mage's Guild Hall outside. You walk past that. Where are you, Temples? I know you're around here somewhere. I think that's it right there. And as you walk past that, you make your way past what looks to be like a large prison that says the Donjon and sort of like murky dark letters over top of it, and then come to a small section where you see a number of large cathedrals and religious buildings of multiple levels and sizes, and you find yourself in the temple district of the high city. Chaplin, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah.
And you see a number of priests and monks, clerics walking around, and they can direct you in the right direction. If you ask Chaplin, one of them says, yes, Autognome, you're looking for the Gnomish Pantheon, I assume?
Yes, I am.
Indeed. Second floor of that building over there, you should find all you need.
Oh, fantastic.
Bows his head to you. What about you, Zalace? What are you looking for?
I'm not quite sure. I just wanted to speak to someone religious about an issue that I have. It doesn't have to be anybody. I don't really follow any religion as such, but
Yeah, no problem.
Unless there's any halfling-based temples on here.
Yeah, you can ask around, but we'll deal with that in RP. So you approach like these two monks who are walking through. They say, good evening to you, halfling. Is there something we can do to assist you?
Oh yeah. I have an issue that I need to talk to a cleric or a high priest about. I'm not sure who's best to talk to because I really don't know much about it myself at the moment. So I'm
Very
just trying
well.
to figure this out.
Well, we'd be happy to assist you, direct you into the right place. If you're looking for spellcasting services, we can do this. But if you're looking for religious guidance, there is no shortage of clerics and paladins and monks who can assist you. What is your specific needs?
I think it's more religious. I'm not really sure how to explain this, but there was a time when I was attacked and I woke up in a strange place and I then had a certain gift, which I'm not sure of how I can buy it because I can't remember anything. But I need to speak to someone religious-wise to try and figure this out. So I
You've
know
lost
what.
your memory.
I can't remember anything from the attack that I suffered. So after that, I'm a bit lost.
I see. Looking for someone to assist you with your memory. Well, there's any number of individuals who'd be happy to perform certain clerical spells to try and assist your malady. If you're looking to find faith as a guidance to your assistance, we might suggest perhaps a god of your own pantheon. There are such idols of such gods here if you wish to explore such faith.
It's not the faith. I just want to know how I come by what I have. It's not about the faith of my gods or any other gods. I just feel that it's more divine than arcane. So I just need to talk to someone and see whether they can point me in the right direction.
A religious expert, I see. Well, let's see if we can't assist you. May we see what is upon your person then, and we can try and find a way to direct you to the right expert?
Okay,
Or, of
so
course, you are free to explore and find someone you deem worthy to help you.
this is what I mean. I'm not too sure. So I'll have a look around and just make sure that there's not a lot of people about, and if there is, then I'll go off into a corner and usher them over.
They'll see your reluctance and they'll say, "Please, this way. Let us move to the chapel where there may be more privacy." And the two monks take you into sort of the main sort of general cathedral. That's just sort of like a general place of prayer. It's not dedicated to any one god or pantheon. They bring you into this sort of dark hall, and they take you to a pew and say, "Please, if this is better for you, maybe we can assist you better if we know the specifics."
So still looking around nervously as to who's about and what have you. I'll produce a soul knife into my hand. And I'll explain to them. Before the attack, I could never do this sort of thing. But now I have certain abilities that I'm able to use. And I'm not sure how. I'm not sure why. Like little bits coming back to me as if to say, fragments of a remembering, but I can't remember it all, and I don't know what it all means.
They look with interest. They look at each other. They say, "This is a very rare talent. Even in the Astral Sea, there's only so many capable of this. This is not our particular area of expertise, but we have heard some speak of it. This is the power of the astral sea. It is psionic, I believe. We've heard some speak of it. It's rare out here in the astral sea, rarer still on planet side. Very interesting. Well, I don't think what you seek is religious, so to speak. Well, it is by some terms. I might recommend you go to the Happy Beholder Tavern. The proprietor there is a beholder, and beholders are aberrant beings that are very much connected to such astral power. Maybe he can point you in the right direction. If not, better yet, if you happen to run into a Gith, they could tell you much more about the power of the astral sea, what you seem to be able to command, sir.
Thank you. You've helped me a great deal here.
They nod to you and say, well, treat your power with care. It is a great thing, and it's difficult to describe. It's not so much a uniform religion under a god, but there is a certain worship to the power that exists in the astral sea and wild space. But yes, you would be best done by speaking to a Gith.
Thank you again. I appreciate your help.
You're quite welcome.
Amen.
We wish you good luck.
I'll get up and I'll walk out and go back into the main square.
Fair enough. You walk into the main square. And I will say, Zalace, Happy Beholder Inn you were suggested to going to, and you happen to know another companion of yours is going there who is indeed Gith. So perhaps perhaps there's some answers there. Are you heading in that direction?
Yes, I would like to head to the market.
Okay.
And on my way, I'd like to have a look and see whether I can see any keys on the wall as messages and stuff like that, just to see whether I can pick up some work or anything like that.
Fair enough. So, okay, what are we going to hop to next? Since we're at the temple, let's stick with you, Chaplin, and then we'll come to you next, Bisan, as you enter into the tavern. Okay, Chaplin.
Yes.
You find your way to the hall that you seek, I assume?
Yeah. So I guess what he's looking for mostly is just to make contact with the people inside that temple.
Fair enough. You find your way into... I'm just going to get myself ready. For... Oh, you know what? This would be perfect. This is the right tome of knowledge I seek. Yeah, you make your way up. What was that, sorry?
I said with animals in tow, by the way.
Yes, with the animals in tow. You find your way up to... there we are. You find your way up to this sort of room, and as you enter within, you see that there is a monk and a cleric there. They both wear amulets that you recognize the symbol of, as I believe you have one firmly planted on your forehead. And you see around the room there's a little more than 9 busts sort of scattered about the room, but there's certainly one that has a more central figure amongst the room you expect as the chief amongst them. You enter within, and the other gnomes sort of, the 2 gnomes sort of turn and look at you. The cleric will approach you and say, well, good afternoon, Mr. Auto Gnome, sir, or however you identify, do not wish to assume. But welcome. Have you come for the worship of the gnomish pantheon?
I have. My name's Chaplin, and I was told that I should seek out Garl wherever I could find him.
Ah, you've come to the right place. And I will say they are speaking to you in gnomish. And he says, well, right this way. You will see his likeness just at the back of the room here. They bring you to that central figure that I had mentioned, the central bust. A little, not bigger than any other, but more central. It is quite a silly face. It has a sort of a side part, large voluminous hair, big eyes that are and set within the actual eyes are these two actual gemstone sapphires set into the actual eyes, and has a full beard, but almost in a mutton choppy way over top of the beard. It has two very long, I don't know how to describe it at all, but whiskers. They're almost like two large, long whiskers that come out very well to the side. Very gentlemanly, but very eccentrically gentlemanly, very crazy in appearance, and says, well, here he may be, the great Garl Glittergold, the great creator of the gnomish race. This is he.
And Chaplin kind of titters a little bit and then begins speaking directly to the bust. And he kind of, motions to the animals. He says, these are my new friends. I've been making my way across the astral sea and spreading mirth and joy as completely as I've been able. And so he just kind of like sort of gets into like this conversation that he's prone to do anyway, but somehow is looking to feel more connected to than he would on board the ship or whatever. I'm not sure that he was necessarily looking for anything more than that, other than to just kind of like stop by, and this would be his first time actually in any form of organized gnomish religious base. So he knew that he was supposed to seek it out, and this is his formal introduction.
All right, you sort of introduce yourself to Gnarl Glittergold. You begin to try and form a sort of personal relationship with the god, and it feels right. There's something inside your circuits that are quite happy. A connection is made, and you speak to him quite peacefully, introduce your animals, and you spend a little time there getting to know the face of this most auspicious gnome. And by the end, you feel quite good about yourself. You feel like you're not alone out here in this deep void. Do you have inspiration?
I don't.
Then you do now. Speaking to your god seems to have given you a little boost, perhaps a slight blessing that you're not fully aware of.
Okay, great. And then there is something else I want to do in this district after I'm done with this portion of it.
Okay. Why don't we zip over to Bisan, and then we'll hit you next, Varsh. And then we'll come back to the market where I think Chaplin and Zalace are both exploring the greater market. So you, Bisan, are heading to the Mages Guild Hall. To be clear, Bisan, you would have seen the same sights that Chaplin and Zalace saw on the way over, including the Grand Market. So you're more than welcome, of course, to explore those and have knowledge of them. But you made your way in. Let me just go be very clear about what you're, with myself more than anything, where you are. Here we are. And of course I gotta change the music because it's not as, let's see, let's do something like that. And nah, I don't like that song. Here we are. You find your way into this 3-story tower. And within, it is full of what you'd expect from a mage's guild, the sort of very occult, beautiful tapestries depicting the stars and orreries of the stars, telescopes, all kinds of arcanists' tool beds, books, tons and tons and tons of books. You see all manner of different mages and different robes, different styles of wear, all about here and there. Arcanist spellcasters all seeming here, coming to share knowledge and lore. You are definitely in the place to find some people who practice magic. And here you are. What do you wish to do, my friend?
I'm going to see if I see any Gith runes just on a sign. Anything that suggests someone might know Gith runes.
Got it. Why don't you make me a perception or investigation check?
Give me a second here. Just before I roll the dice, I'm going to see which one I'm rolling, and I think it's going to be perception.
All right, no problem.
Dirty 20.
30-20. You look around, and you see much around here. You see all kinds of cool stuff. You don't see anything Gith specifically, but more than a few, I don't know how to explain it, maybe books, maybe projects, but certainly an attention and an interest in the power of the psionic, the power of the astral sea itself, that manifest power that you are so very familiar with. It is a subject of interest around here for sure. Not Gith specifically, seems to be splayed out anywhere, but people seem to be very interested in that power that you possess inherently.
Is there anyone of that ilk who this is a weird perception check, but someone that she felt like she could just talk to and not have to worry about them being terrified of her? Like
Maybe an insight check. Or we call it an insight check.
Someone that's not going to look at her and be like, "Oh, fuck her," because she gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's an 18 on the dice. Did you say perception?
Yes, or insight.
Okay, insight's different. Yes, that's a 19.
19. Yeah, you look around. You know the bookish types tend to be a little more dodgy because they're all a lot of them are very theoretical. They're not very like go out into the world and see actual Gith. So you're like, I better pick my person here. And you start looking for sort of what you were told to look for, like the telltale signs of a veteran, an adventurer, is scars. They got scars, probably been out and about. And you find this one, I don't like that. You see this one older female woman. She's definitely got the garb of what you would expect to be like maybe a sorcerer. It's not as like drapey mage, but it's sort of like, shoulder brace, whatever. But you do see she has like a scratch mark across her shoulder. She looks like a little bit more worldly. You expect that this woman perhaps has a little more experience. She sits in an armchair. There's one right next to her that's empty. And she's reading a book and has her leg folded over the other.
I will approach and kind of shuffle a little bit and not be 6 feet tall and skinny. And say, hi.
She looks up from her book and sees you. She has oval glasses, but otherwise looks late 20s, early 30s, black hair. She's got little, what's it called? She's got freckles on her cheeks. She looks up at you and goes, well, good evening. Welcome. We don't see many Gith on the Rock of Bral. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm Bisan. Could I show you?
My name's Velma.
Hi. Could I show you something and maybe if you know something about it, you could tell me?
How interesting. Closes her book, puts it on the table, says, of course, please. She offers the other chair if you want.
And I will put the armor and the sun sword in front of her.
She sort of sits on the edge of her chair, from her like comfort back cross position. She sort of sits in the front of her chair and kind of takes the armor in front of her and kind of looks it over. She takes the amulet sort of and starts inspecting it. She looks it over and she goes, very interesting. Wow. And she's looking it over with deep interest. She goes, no, it couldn't be here. She keeps looking it over. He says, well, I have to say, it's very interesting to meet you. I mean, I haven't... Incredible.
Can you tell me about it?
I most certainly can. Most certainly can. Just give me half a moment here. She's doing exactly what I'm doing. She's pulling out books and looking at goes over, having little epiphanic moments. And you sit patiently, hopefully patient, or maybe patiently, that's up to you, for a little bit of time while she kind of takes out little books.
Bisan is disciplined. She's essentially a monk in some ways. So the way they're trained, the Gith, just their society is very aesthetic.
Absolutely. So, okay, I got it. I had to double check some stuff, but I think I know whose armor this belongs to. I'm amazed that you found it. There was, it's very obscure lore, but those who are of an eccentric, shall we say, those who are eccentrically interested in your culture, in very small circles know of, well, it's this sort of outer plane guild where the Gith sort of united. They put aside the Gith Yankee and put aside the Gith Zerai, and they sort of come together to sort of unify and share cultural values and fight together. And they've sort of redirected their attention towards their common enemy, the Mind Flayers, the Illithid. And amongst them, and this has been going on for a little while now, it's very exciting, they had amongst them in their lore a powerful warrior. There's been many, mind you, and they were figuring themselves out, but there was one warrior that they all sort of venerated. A warrior of great bravery who had a mastery over the power of the astral sea, the psionic power of the astral sea, and was a very skilled warrior. He was known as Knight Anarch Tron. Now they say Knight Anarch Tron was an anarch of the Gith Zerai, but left the plane of limbo and came to a place in... how do I describe it? There's an outer plane, an afterworld, known as the Outlands. And within the Outlands, that's where you find these Gith. They're a very small, very secretive community. And this warrior disappeared. He went to fight, some say a great enemy. I don't know it all off by heart, but the Knight Anarch Tron is very well known, even in Gith society. It's sort of, they say it's whispered in the halls of the Gith Zerai, and even in Vlaakith's court, they whisper of the Knight Anarch Tron, who could defeat just about anybody. They say his power was even comparable to the Lich Queen herself. But that might just be legend to sort of boost it up. The bards like to have fun. But they do say that it was one of the greatest warriors of his time and fought bravely and slaughtered many Mind Flayer. But he disappeared. Nobody knows why or where, but he disappeared and was a great warrior.
And this is his armor?
I believe so. I mean, look here, and then starts to be very specific about it. It goes like, well, you see the notching here, and it's very clearly about near 100 years old. There's no specific markers, but this armor, it's not from Gith Yankee make, and Gith Zerai don't wear armor. typically, and it's the only place it could have possibly come from, and you had this symbol with you. It all adds up. I think this is the armor of Knight Honor Tron. I mean, it's by all means.
Is this place is there a name of this? He was leading a group?
I don't know if he might have been a leader. Again, the tales are a little fuzzy. He was a leader, but he was certainly a great commander, at the very least. He was a great warrior who led the other Gith into battle. Was said to be the most courageous of them. Was an anarch of the Gith Zerai, but learned the disciplines of the Gith Yankee Knights and combined their disciplines to become a very powerful psionic warrior. And was said to be incredibly skilled, both with sword and with psionics, like no other Gith. Never came into conflict with either faction, not in any real way. They say that there were skirmishes, but was a great champion against the Illithid. Let's see if I can't find out where the specific name of this place that you're seeking. Starts going through the books again. She starts singing to herself.
It does kind of have that vibe to it, though, doesn't it?
Exactly. She goes, yes. Okay, yes. You are looking for the outer plane, known as, again, as I said, the Outlands. And within the Outlands, there is a border city. They call it a gate town. And that gate town is known as Zalace. This is where they make their headquarters. They guard the door to Limbo. Which is, I think, where they say the Gith Zerai go, I'm sorry, I've been talking a lot. I hope I'm not offending you in any way. I know it's your culture and everything. Are you Gith Zerai? Or are you Gith Yankee? Do you don't identify with either?
I'm Gith Zerai.
Ah, okay, I see. But yes, it's a very interesting case study, the Zeos. Very, very interesting, where chaos reigns supreme, and the two different Gith cultures have sort of come together. It's a very rare instance of that ever happening.
Do you think you could fix either of these?
I mean, I could find someone to fix them, but if you want them to be, properly fixed in the traditional style, you'll have to find a proper Gith skilled. And considering its armor, I would say a Gith Yankee even. Maybe those who inhabit the gate town of Zeos might be able to do it. I imagine that's where it originated. I mean, the style is very unique. You usually see a lot of, when it comes to Gith Yankee armor, it's they usually specialize in half plate with these sort of red orbs. It's sort of, I don't know it very well myself if those are actual crystals or not, but they have these red orbs across, but this doesn't have anything like that. It sort of binds the sort of aesthetic styles of the Gith Zerai with the actual armoring proficiency of the Gith Yankee. It's a very interesting metallurgy.
Thank you.
Well, this is ancient art. I mean, it's not that ancient. It's about 100 years old, but very, very interesting to the culture of the Gith. I'm sure you showed these to the right people, you could open some doors. Probably sell it for quite a fair amount. Not that you would. I assume that would be not something you're interested in.
No, I would like to repair it. When I find someone to repair it.
Fair enough. And I would suggest you probably would want to wait for the right craftsman for such a piece. It's, I mean, this is terrific cultural value. I mean, I don't even know how to compare it. It's like the Sword of Bral, just taking it to any old smith. You wouldn't want the Sword of Bral to just be repaired by anybody,
No, I did not know what it was. By the way, would she have? You said it's pretty common knowledge. Is this the first time she's ever heard of the Knight Anarchtron?
You, Bisan, absolutely. You've never heard of this name before.
Okay. Huh.
Well, even the title, Knight Anarch, because there's no knights amongst the Githzerai. The Anarchs is the Anarchs of the Githzerai, but knights are reserved for, the Githyanki knights who bear the silver swords, which are, the supreme Githyanki weapon. So it's sort of like combining the two, because the knights are considered like the Jedi of the Githyanki. They're the ultimate warriors of the Githyanki. They're outside the normal military progression. They are the great warriors of their people who ride on dragonback. So it's very much a combining of the two cultures. You've never heard that title before. It's all very new to you.
This is exciting.
I would say so. Very exciting. And my goodness, if you gain any more progress and you find yourself on the Rock of Bral, please come to me. I would love to hear how this little story unfolds.
I will. Thank you.
Of course. By the way, I don't know if you're an arcanist or a mage of any kind, but we accept membership, even sort of loose, temporary membership.
Above the table, my mage hand ability does not give me any. Actually, I can cast shield once a day as well.
Yeah. Well,
give me spell casting.
psionics are considered magic. They're not considered it's not traditional arcane magic or divine magic, but it is considered a discipline of magic. Says we accept people as short-term guests to permanent due-paying members. So if you wanted to do something, by all means, just so you know.
I'm not really a spellcaster. My abilities are more drawn.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I'm sure there's plenty of guilds and organizations here on the Rock of Bral that might suit you better.
But I will keep you posted. Thank you.
Very well. And remember, my name is Velma Crew, if you're looking for me. I'm usually around here.
Thank you, because I forgot to write it down.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay. It is a busy evening for the team. So we'll come away from you, Bisan. And I think Bisan, Chaplin, and Zalace are all going to sort of find themselves in the market. So we'll come back to all of you guys in a moment. But Varsh, let's go to you. Where are you off to next, sir?
Off to... what was it called? Xenotermination Limited.
Hell yeah, Limited. Where is that pesky little organization? Where did I put them? You find your way back in the halls. You walk your way past the Happy Beholder Tavern. There's a little back street here. And you find yourself in a little bit of an alley, and with Dragon at your back. And you find yourself in there. Let me see here. I'm gonna do a little. Okay. You find yourself into this little, how do I put this? It's not so much a guild hall. It almost looks like more like a home, or maybe like formatted like a tavern, but there's a living space above the tavern. It's not a tavern. But inside, it's sort of like a workspace where you see a small group of individuals who all seem highly specialized. You see like a ranger in that corner. You see a rogue in that corner. You see a fighter over there. Very specialized, very much look like monster hunters for all intents and purposes. And they're all sort of just hanging out and going over contracts, sharpening their weapons. You walk in with your dragon, and they all sort of look at the door. And they all kind of like look at each other and sort of grin. And you hear, you don't hear, you see one of them approach you. Nah, we don't want that. Let's see who we got. You see this dragonborn, this old dragonborn. Despite his age, you can clearly see it as sort of dimming scales. He's got a big axe strapped to his back, and he's got like a single shoulder pelt with some kind of alien leather hide armor across his chest, very barbaric looking. He's got black scales and green eyes, like yellowish green eyes. And he sort of approaches you. He stands about a half a foot taller than you, and he goes, "Well, we usually go out to find the monsters. It's interesting to see them come through the door. Who the hell are you?"
I'm Varsh Voidlight, and this is Ethereth. And lay a finger on his head, and yours will fall off.
We only kill monsters for money around here. We don't work for free. I'm Jura. Puts his hand out.
I take it.
Shake your hand. Firm, strong hand. Just massive fucking delts, pecs, and everything. Guy's built despite his age. He goes, "Oh, come in. It's not often we have monsters come through our door. What can we do for you? You looking for some work? You looking to hire us out to slay something?"
I'm looking for work mainly. I'm part of the crew in the ship that just docked, the New Dawn. Captain has me looking for jobs for us, and I was directed to come here.
Got it. Just getting down the details of this NPC, who's probably going to be important. So as we can do that, he sort of sits back, he puts his legs up on a table, sort of folds his leg over, goes, "Well, we do hire by an individual, or we tend to get hired by individuals or businesses whose welfare are dependent on the slaying of monsters, but we do hire out temporarily members and such. We don't usually take on such big contracts that we need a whole crew, but you wanted to hire out the services of your ship to hunt something a little more big?"
Well, we're a crew of, I believe, 19 now, including my companion here.
All right. Well, that could be interesting. Sort of turns around and goes, "Do we get any contracts for anything we would need a... What kind of ship is it? A galleon, sounds like?"
Yeah, a galleon.
"You have any contracts that we might need to hire out a galleon crew for?" And they start going through a couple contracts. And let's see. He looks around. He says, "We got a couple of contracts here," and they start going through it. Let's see. Oh, it's gonna have to be some big fucking creature if you want to take it down. He sort of looks at one. He says, "You know, we do have that one contract from the palace about that cosmic horror that was blundering the trade routes up north, or up the outer portions of the system. Is that still available?" Because I can, the one other sort of like the ranger individual says, "We can run to the palace and see if that contract's still open, sort of the sightings of a cosmic horror." Says, "All right. Yeah, take off." Says, "All right, Mr. Voidlight, you brought us something interesting. We'll see if we can use this opportunity wisely, but I warn you, anything that we're taking on, that we haven't taken on ourselves, that requires a ship, is going to be very dangerous. Think you're up for it?"
I grin at him. Well, we took down a ghost ship the other day, so we all seem to be up for danger. Plus,
That's what I like to
you managed
hear.
to put this through its paces. I give that thread like a little pat.
It sort of just like looks around. I think it's looking at the Dragonborn with like interest, sort of turning its head at the Dragonborn, who looks over and just sort of speaks in Draconic and says, "How are you doing?" And the dragon sort of seizes and goes, "Doing." Goes, "How old is it?"
2.5 days. Still
Wow.
working out the. It mimics just fine, but understanding we're still working on.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. Try to train a dragon. And I'll do a little roll here, see if he knows anything about your dragon for you. He goes, and a lunar dragon at that. I mean, you're a tenacious fellow.
Well, the responsibility was thrust upon me, and, well, let's make the most of it.
And he just sort of sighs at you with a look of like, you can tell that you're a whole chapter book. And he's like, this is a person it'll take a while to deal with, or to not to deal with, but to understand. And you hang out for a little while, and he maybe gets you a drink and asks about your ship and your captain. He goes, "Oh, Captain Lunarbow. No, we heard about. I think everyone's heard of Captain Lunarbow from the Unhuman War. Very decorated, as far as I understand. I'm surprised that gets into small talk." But shortly after, comes in through the door and says, this ranger individual who has gone undescribed goes, "Yeah, no, the contract's still up. They're surprised that we won, and it's bigger than we usually do. Are you sure about this, Jura?" He goes, "Well, I mean, yeah. I'll tell you what, Mr. Voidlight, you got 19 crew on your galleon?"
Yep, I believe that's the number now.
"Maybe I'm gonna send one of my boys here, board your ship, fill up that 20th space, and they'll act as a sort of representation of our organization, and we'll split the contract 50-50 for the defeat of this cosmic horror creature. How's that sound?"
Well, I think it would be. I'd kind of pause for a second, I think, because for Lunabow's pretty kind of he's a bit more kind of runs things more democratically. I'll need to inform the captain first before we can finalize anything, but I'll happily take you to the ship so you can speak in person.
Very well, if that's what you want to do. Talk to your captains, see what the captain thinks. Oh, and I should probably tell you how much you'll be making.
Sure.
The bounty is for 6,500 gold pieces. So, hopefully that'll wet your whistle.
This was for a cosmic horror, you say?
They're very rare, they're hard to find, but they're out there, especially in wild space. They usually cling to the fringes of the astral sea, so it's very weird for them to be actually in a wild space system, which is why I'm sure you can understand, the great ruler of this place wants it dead.
Is this possibly something like have I maybe not necessarily encountered one, maybe witnessed one or heard anything on my travels in the astral sea?
Make me any number of intelligence checks. Let's call it Arcana or Nature?
And just, is it an aberration? Just like as a...
Yes.
In that case, hey, I have advantage.
There you go.
Is it Arcana?
Sure. Arcana or Nature?
Either works. So that is 18.
18. You have heard of cosmic horrors. They are bedtime stories. They are scary, scary bedtime stories for children. But, realistically, as you've traveled to the astral plane and maybe spoken to some old salt sailors, cosmic horrors are beings of the far realm, that place where the mortal mind is not meant to go, for it's not meant to comprehend the terrors and horrors of that place. Cosmic horrors are colossal, malevolent entities that, occasionally slip through the bonds of the far realm and find themselves adrift in the astral sea. To find them in wild space is a true anomaly. That is not where they belong. They're drawn to the light of distant stars, and they only invade wild space systems to lay waste to entire worlds, as they're not usually equipped to face such difficulties, such challenges. You'd be aware that this is nothing. This would be your ghost ship wouldn't be quite the challenge that this thing is.
Okay. Kind of like nodding along and like a cosmic horror and wow. I feel as if everyone should be more concerned about this.
Yeah, I agree, but we do our business. The government does their business to, protect people, I guess. There's no Elven Armada anymore. They'd probably take care of it. And also, these things are probably the most powerful things that come out of the far realm, so no one wants to tangle with it.
Understandably so. Well, I'll let the captain know about the other contracts, but it will depend on the captain. That's up to them.
Fair enough. Let us know what your captain thinks. And remember, 50-50, that's 3,250 gold for your crew. Could be a nice little turnaround. Get you some guns on that ship, maybe, if you don't have them already.
We're ballistas and mangonels with... Well, the only gunman we have is a rather amusing Gith.
Gith, crazy bastards.
I'll be back in due time. I'll let you know what the captain says. Thank you.
Fair enough. And you head off? No problem.
Head back.
Okay. We will transition over to all of our people who are finding themselves walking out into the Grand Market on the other side of town. Zalace, Chaplin, and Bisan, you all will find yourselves separately, but nonetheless, at the same time, gathering in, where is it? The Great Market. As a reminder, there is what looks to be some kind of tavern, known as the Thrashing Bull. There is what looks to be some kind of trade center called the Smith's Coster. And lastly, there is a place called Gaspar's Reclamations. You don't know what that is, but so it is. Many market stalls are scattered about the Grand Market, and you may decide what you wish to do here.
I'll check out Gaspar's Reclamations.
All right, I'll head to the Reclamations. Anyone else going to Reclamations, or do you have other plans?
No, I've got other plans.
All right. Why don't we handle Reclamations then, if nobody else is going there? Just get that out of the way. I gotta choose this music. It's killing me because we're not in that anymore. Give me that Welcome to Rabbinica. There we go.
What were the other two places?
A shop called the Smith's Coster. Looks like a major trade place. As well as the Thrashing Bull Tavern.
I would like to go to the Reclamations place as well.
Chaplin, you find Bisan. You meet Bisan at the door.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
And you guys go in.
Have you seen my goat?
Is it the same goat from yesterday?
He kind of looks at it and tilts his head. I don't know whether or not it's the same goat from yesterday. Yeah, same
And
goat
I
from
don't know if I've seen your goat before.
Yeah, he truly doesn't know whether or not he gets the same goat every time. It's a
You
mystery.
conjure the same ethereal goat.
Bisan
Alright.
cannot answer your question then. It is Schrodinger's goat.
Schrodinger's goat. Okay, let's see. You walk inside and you see... Oh, why not? You see this plasmoid, sort of mercantile-looking individual, sort of a blue plasmoidy, standing at the front. It goes, "Welcome to Ghost Farms Reclamation." Says, "What can I do for you? Do you have something that needs reclaiming, or do you wish to seek something that needs claiming?"
I'm really not sure how this works. Do you have goods here?
Well, no. We specialize in claiming things. I'm gonna stop doing that, but you get the picture. It says, no, you see, what we do is we procure items. If you wish for something to be found, say an art piece, a beautiful gemstone, a piece of jewelry, a magical item, you can come here and put some funds down. We'll find people to go out and claim those items for you. Or you may, of course, hire yourselves out to go out and find such things and bring them here, take on contracts and such. Either way.
We can do that.
Good. Is this for you two as a team, your duo?
We have a ship.
You have your own ship, congratulations!
It's not our ship, but the captain told us to find work. So
Okay, understood. Well, let us see what we can do. You have an entire ship and you wish to go looking. Very well. What kind of contract were you looking to take on? The more expensive the contract, the more difficult it will be to find the item.
we beat up ghost pirates.
Wow!
Something like that.
Wow, okay.
Chaplin, is that
Jeez.
good? Ghost pirates? Should we do more of that?
The ghost pirates were fine with me. Yeah, something along those lines, I imagine.
Okay. Well, we specialize in procuring magic items and gems, works of art. So
I would imagine the captain would want something that's relatively nearby. Do you have anything you think might be able to be procured that's relatively nearby?
we have some contracts in specific, but if you all have any magic, we also take non-specific things. So it's say if you board a ghost ship and you find yourself a really beautiful painting from ancient times, you could bring it here and sell it to us, and we'll accept a finder's fee.
Oh.
But we do have special contracts for specific pieces of art and magic items that we have buyers that want to be procured. So let's see. You have a whole ship, so I assume you want something of a little more greater expense. Let's see. How much would you? Let's see. So I assume your ship would want to make some cashola around the region of a couple hundred or a couple thousand gold or more.
Probably around a couple thousand, I would assume.
Very well.
We have 19. It's big.
19 gold?
No, 19 crew.
Okay, got it. Thank you. That's very interesting. A very big ship. Good to hear. Let's see. Here we are. Says very well. Okay. And is going through his contracts. Okay, we can be done with this one, I'd say. Okay. I have a contract that came across my desk just the other day, and they seek a rare magical item. if you were able to procure this rare magical item, I would be willing to pay you in the region, your crew, of course. I'd be willing to pay your crew. I'd be willing to pay your crew 8,000 gold pieces.
Oh, that's very generous. What is this item?
Well, actually, I did that entirely wrong because they accept a finder's fee. They say we'd be willing to pay your crew 4,000 gold pieces because we accept a not so modest finder's fee for setting everything up. So 4,000 gold pieces to your crew for the procurement of a staff of healing. We have the location of it, but we're told that it is guarded by dangerous enemies.
Oh, but you have the location? We'll take that contract.
We
All right.
have to talk to Captain. We can find work. He did not say accept work.
Oh, is there a difference?
Potentially, yes.
I
But
think
we
you
can
probably-
take contract to Captain.
I think you can probably give it to us, Mr. Plasmoid.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I will take this contract. He slides it back and he says, I'll put it under my desk for 24 hours. And if you decide to accept it, you may come back. If I don't see it from you again or you don't, I will put it back on top of the desk.
Thank you.
Chaplin
You are quite
tries to-
welcome.
one of his eyes goes dark as he tries to like blink.
He's like, you two, I say this with the utmost respect. I think you need to work on your communication skills, both. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Who plays a Chaplin? And you, with absolute respect. You know, never. I don't. I feel like I'm probably gonna say, never mind. All the information is very helpful at once. You know, you're like, we have 6. You know, it's very helpful if you tell me 6 what all at once. You know. Or you said 19. You said we have 19, and then I was like, what? You were like 19 crew, and I was like, oh, you know. So it's very good It's very good to add that up front.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're quite welcome, and thank you for taking that so well. I was only trying to help. Very well. Well, I hope you can accept the contract, and I will see you soon. Hopefully.
We should go find the captain.
All right, you two are going to go ahead and find the captain. Zalace, let's come to you, my friend. Thank you. So you're looking around, I believe you said, for some like thieve canty signs of crime and such, yes?
Yeah, so I'm going to be looking out for anybody that I think is more likely going to be a member of the Thieves Guild or any signs of a Thieves Guild knocking around. Most probably looking at the thrashing bull from your description. I think that might be a seedy looking place where I might find someone of that kind of ilk.
Fair enough. Why don't you make me an investigation check? Well, I'll tell you what, it depends on the approach you want to take. Do you want to just like quietly, subtly like look around and try and seek signs of it, or do you want to like go up to people and talk to them and you know, subtly put on the thieves' cant and see if you can't find a direction?
I'd start off doing it quietly by myself, just having a look around, not trying to draw attention.
Okay, fair enough. Why don't we call that an investigation of the market? See if you can find any signs of a thieving.
Okay, so that was a 12.
12. Okay. It isn't with much difficulty that you find elements of crime here on the Spelljammer version of Nassau. It's not pirates necessarily, but lawlessness is definitely around. Let's see. You see... Oh, go ahead.
So just as a thing on, where is it? I have contacts. So, how was it? It was one of
Gotcha.
the things that,
Yeah, your crime background, right?
yeah.
Okay. I'll tell
I
you
was
what.
trying to find it.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to say that while you were back on the home planet, you were given a name for the Rock of Bral here to sort of make a more wild, spacey contact while you were away.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to say that you were... Where's my mouse? There it is. You were sent to go find this old gnomish pickpocket by the name of Fenfina. And here in this very market.
Fenfina.
That's right.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just taking down notes.
Sorry, so was I, sir.
No problem. Okay, cool. So with that check, you indeed are going to find... You were given a physical description. You find this really old gnomish woman. Like, you know how gnomes age? They age at the same rate as humans, but once they reach that, 60-year-old phase, they kind of halt aging for the next couple hundred years. So you see this woman who looks like a very old, white-haired woman, and she has short, straight blonde hair, but they're shaved on both sides, like a mohawk almost. And she has brown... What was that? Sorry. And brown hair, brown eyes, blonde hair. And she's just kind of hanging out. She's wearing very regular clothing. Nothing that's like, I'm a thief, nothing like that. You approach her?
So, as I walk up to her, I'll, in Thieves' Camp, I'll just ask, are you, Ben Teller?
She answers back to you in Thieves' Camp. She says, yeah, I'm Fenfina. Are you with one of the Underbarons? Who are you?
My name is, Vanny. I was sent here to look for you, to see whether you had any jobs that may be able to be done.
And she'll talk to you a little bit and sort of understand where you're from. And as she hears how you got her name, she kind of nods and goes, "All right, I see. All right. Well, I guess you got yourself a contact here while you're on the rock. I'll tell you what, why don't you buy me a drink and I can give you a lay of the land."
Certainly. That's good.
All right. She'll take you to, she'll take you into the actual Thrashing Bull, which is a nice tavern. There's no signs of big crime or anything, nothing like that. It's just a nice tavern, a little more upscale. Sit down for 4 copper. You can buy an ale, so 1 for her, 1 for you, maybe for 8. And she says, "Okay, so how long you been on the rock? Do you know who's who and what's what, or do you need a little, how do I put this? A little education?"
The education will be appreciated. I've just landed today.
All right, here's how it is. This place is a filthy crime hole. There's there's the magistrates. Let me get that information. Says, well, there is the magistrates watch who deals with really big crimes, but other than that, people are expected to police themselves. So this is a real rat's nest, which is just how we like it. If you're looking for thieves' guilds, there are 4 what we call underbarons around here who are in charge of everything bad. And I'll tell you who they are. There is Osmata, who controls the dock district. There is... I will post this to you in the Zoom chat, too, as well. Just so
okay.
So you don't have to try and keep up with all the spelling and everything.
Okay.
So say there is Ozamata is one of the underbosses who controls the docks in the lower city. There is Meriden Sandyfoot, as I'm pretty sure you can guess. Meriden, he controls the barrows where you probably saw all the thieves, or all the, same thing, halflings, out by the docks there, but sort of holds a lot of sway over the craft people. Halflings of the burrows, and the crafts people of the rock. There's the juggler. They say that she has a network of swindlers and minstrels in the city, but nobody really knows who the juggler actually is. And lastly, there's probably the most mysterious one. There's whispers about this fourth one called the Unknowable One. But nobody, well, you know, the name kind of speaks for itself. Nobody really knows what their whole deal is. But, you know, their name floats around, that, you know, they're kind of in charge of some stuff around here. Or even how to get in touch. So that's it. Those are the four underbarons, and those four between them, they sort of vie for influence over the city, and you know, their usual racket: insurance fees, extortion. You know, they're encroaching on rival guilds, take a little slice of the action here and there. That's how they operate, and that's sort of the lay of the land.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna fire another drink and just say thank you very much. If I can be of any help to you, then please, when we're about on the rock, please
all right.
I'll help.
Yeah, if I got anything that needs any work for a newcomer, I'll put it through to you. But as I'm sure you can imagine, the guilds kind of trust themselves. Build yourself a little rep. Maybe some underbosses will get a little, underbarons will get a little curious. Who knows? I'll see if I can't throw something your way. But you know, you're new here. You got to pay your dues.
I understand that. This is a new place for me, so yeah, I get it. Thank
Fair
you.
enough.
Appreciate your help.
I will say this. You're a halfling. Meriden Sandyfoot is a halfling. Controls the halflings. Maybe it'd be best hanging around the barrows and seeing if there's any work down there to help out.
Yeah, I will do. Thank you.
Alright, good luck in all your endeavors.
And I'll leave and head back out to the market.
Alright, will do. So at that point, Zalace, Bisan, and Chaplin both sort of appear. It's getting very late. At this point, you guys arrived in the evening. Shops are closing up, at least in the middle district. The lower district just never seems to close, so the lower market never seems to close. But here in the middle city, in the high city, it is starting to sort of close up and get quieter. Let's circle back to Varsh. What are you up to, Varsh?
I went back to the ship to deliver the contract I found to the captain.
Okay, fair enough. What about you three? Where are you three headed? Same thing?
Well, I'd like to, as we're walking, talk to Bisan.
Okay.
So, Bisan, you're a Gith. Can I pick your brains about something?
Yes.
How much do you know about psionic power?
Does he
an
have
extraordinary
anything?
amount.
Does he have anything on him that looks like I could float to my hand quickly, like just something floating on him real quick?
Probably not on him. People tend to secure the items on their person. But
Yeah,
I'll say
mine
that,
will all
like,
be tucked away.
yeah, but there's probably like a rock nearby or whatever, you know.
I'll bring a rock to my hand and toss it to him.
Yeah, you just put your hand on a rock, sort of shakes for half a second, and then sort of shoots to your hand as if it was lightly tossed, and then you hand it to Zalace.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to use my psionic whisper and talk to her.
Okay. You feel very easily, Zalace, as you access this new portion of your brain. You feel very, like, I don't know, as you've walked around lately, you felt different minds of different, I don't know, resiliences, shall we say. But Bisan's you very easily connect with. It's very fluid, like a river that you're joining. And Bisan, you hear Zalace within your mind.
Sorry, Bisan. I needed to show you. I don't quite understand how it works. I was attacked by a group of, well, thugs, mercenaries. Nearly died. Don't know how I didn't, to be honest. When I woke up days after, weeks, I started to get have these feelings and these powers that I just don't understand. I've never had this before. Never felt anything like it. I need help. I think you might be able to help me.
He was attacked by a what?
Sorry, a group of mercenaries.
Group of mercenaries. Okay. So in your head, you'll hear our race was changed by exposure over time to the illithid, aberrant creatures. I don't know of something not aberrant that would open psionic ability, but there's lots I don't know.
Okay. I think I just need someone to tell me what's happened to me. I have no idea. I woke up with these feelings, these abilities that I've learned how to control in this certain way, but I know that it's going to get worse if I don't find out. And I need to know what's happened to me. I just need to know whether you know anybody that could help me.
So we're walking. Is it just the two of us, or are we walking with Chaplin?
Some part of me tells me that Chaplin is well entertained by his menagerie of animals, if you want it to be a little more private.
Okay. So I feel like maybe it's been a while since Bisan has had a conversation that's just psionic, and so her matter of speech starts to become a lot more fluid once she kind of settles into speaking that way. It isn't anything to be afraid of. You're something different now than you were. It's not something that gets worse. It's a skill. It's a sword, it's a shield, it's something to learn. That's all.
Okay. It's just terrified me for a little while. But thank you.
You can't let it terrify you. That's where it becomes dangerous, is the fear.
I've felt that a little bit, which is why I've kept it under wraps for so long. But hopefully, I need to find someone, and hopefully I can find that person that will help me get through this. Whether it's to make me better, or whether it's to understand more of what's going on.
I don't know that there's better or worse. There's nothing to fear more than your hand. It's a hand. That's all.
Do you have anything that I could read upon and see where it all started, and so I can get to understand it maybe a little bit?
Would there be? I mean, she would not have it on her.
I don't know.
You know, of like a Gith primer, like they are a. They.
I
There must be a
think,
way to learn this.
yeah. I don't think like you have one on you, or you would know how to access one on the Rock of Bral. However, given your upbringing, I think it would be very easy for you to like sit down one night and write a couple-page primer for Zalace to review that you would have been taught as a young Gith Zerai about, you know, the power of psionics and how it is the great force of the astral sea.
Yep. I will do that.
So you could make one really easily.
I don't know how to find something here, but I will make something for you. Give me a day or two to write something out.
Okay. So then I'll drop the psionic whispers and just say thank you, Bisan.
You are welcome.
Fantastic. So it sounded like everyone was heading back. As you all head back to the ship, and you've all sort of investigated in your own right different avenues of income for the ship, new adventures, what have you, you will get a long rest. You will wake up the next morning. As everyone went to bed, you'll be able to sort of present your findings to the captain in the morning. But as it stands, you guys have explored the Rock of Bral. There's still a great deal more of this wonderful and lawless place to get to know. It is clearly a place full of options and resources for the wild space wanderer. But for now, you have explored greatly, you have learned some stuff, and you have some potential adventures in front of you for what happens next. And that's where we'll end the session.
It was so good to see everybody.
Yay.
Yeah. Sorry,
Good stuff.
my comms are a little bit thingy. My computer's been playing up for a little while, so I'm trying
No
to
problem.
fix.
Hey man, everyone has computer stuff happen sometimes. It sucks and I'm sorry, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. Happens to the best of us.